And we're live. Hey, everybody. Good to see you guys. I'm on the StreamYard side. I don't even know why I say that. I'm on the StreamYard side. Hi, everybody. Hi, all my sleeping cats. I'm glad you could join alive. It's good to see you. Tonda, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you? Suzanne? Nope, not bedside. Not bedside. Actually, what time is it? 4:15. 5:15. 6. Maybe I'll have time for a sunset um, later on. I'll have to play it by ear. Play it by ear. It is, yes, it is a little brisk outside. Yesterday, the last 2 days were gorgeous. I did some hiking, um, spent a lot of time outdoors, getting bummed out that winter's coming. Hey, purple butterfly, how are you? Yes, pour yourself a glass of wine. Sounds like a lovely idea with some cheese. Okay. All right. So I wanted to go live because I've given myself a couple of days to think about MRB's last live stream, the one that where BBT got very upset. And by the way, I just want to let you know that I did get in touch with her. She's okay. And I don't mean okay like, you know, she's safe. She's obviously hurt. Um, Merb can twist it any way she wants, but I rewatched Merb's stream at the part where she blatantly is putting BBT in a compromised position of basically saying that BBT is responsible for the calls, for everything, everything. So BBT got dumped on pretty bad. I will say this. I know BBT in person. We've met, we've conversed on the phone for hours and hours and hours. Um, she is being portrayed by Merb as someone she is, BBT is absolutely not even close to. If I didn't feel safe around somebody that Merb has portrayed BBT to be, I wouldn't be around that person, and I have. Um, here we go with the cough. I apologize. I apologize. I'm feeling much better. I am testing COVID negative, which is good, but I apologize if I do, my throat gets dry if I start coughing. I'm drinking some tea. Hi, Micah. Lollipop. Yeah, so Angela, thank you so much for that video. I watched it yesterday. I wasn't able to make the live itself, but thank you so much. That was fun. It was fun. And yes, my daughter did a good job packing it up. So I hope you enjoy every single thing in it. You love your box so much. Good. Congratulations again. Hi, Steph. So yeah, BBT, she's hurt. She's hurt. And I think Merb has definitely taken it way too far. Um, hold on one second. Hold on one second. I just got to go off for 1 second. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I'm back in. I do want to let you all know there is in law, there is such a thing called unclean hands doctrine. Okay, and what that means, hold on. Yeah, okay, all right. It's, it's called unclean hands doctrine. And what that means is if someone is threatening to sue for slander, defamation, um, unclean hands means that if you took part in that argument, if you were just as bad, slinging shit back and forth, two parties, a lawyer will not take the case because basically you've had your part. So all these threats of suing everyone are look up unclean hands doctrine, okay, and you'll find out right then and there that what you have been doing online on your own channel to other people basically disqualifies you for to pursue a lawsuit. Hey, Wendy, Peg, Annie, Micah, Mika. Um, I will say this. Um, so after thinking about this for a couple of days, I was extremely disturbed and still am by those prank calls. And I'm not going to debate whether if they were real, whether they were fake, whether she did them. You know, there are apps out there, voice, and for spam calls, prank calls, where you can change the voice. You can give it a British accent. You can give it a Southern accent. You can give it a German accent. You can be male. You can be female. Excuse me. I'm not going to debate that. Um, what I am going to say is when those calls came through of SA toward a minor child, I wanted to get sick. And I wanted to make sure, I went back and listened again to make sure, the context of MRB, what they were throwing out, and her panel guests. What I found, what I found is that she was more concerned about showing that person's spoof number, and they're spoof numbers. They're not authentic. I mean, in real life they may attach to somebody, but it doesn't mean it's that person. You can get these spoof numbers and they're not regulated, unfortunately. That's why, these apps should be banned, in my opinion. But thankfully, if law enforcement did get involved to trace those, they would find out uh, that they're not authentic. That's what makes them so dangerous, because they can't be traced. It would be very hard to trace them unless something, unless it was a case where there was a murder or, in court and they would get forensic um, computer scientists to break down the data, whatever, you know what I mean? So, anyway, she was more concerned with showing the number. I'm going to find you, I'm going to sue you, um, and really ignoring like what was being said toward her children. And I noticed too that her panel guests were almost like turning both eyes blindly to what was going on and agreeing with her, like, you're so stupid. You're going to get caught. Who uses your real number? But yet, nothing about the essay and how damaging that is. And to think that there are survivors, victims of essay watching her channel, possibly the fact that it was put out there and it stayed out there, it just it makes me sick. It really makes me sick. The bad thing is she still gets to spew her nasty bowel crap out that you can't unring the bell. Everyone has heard her, which I think is what she wants, in my humble opinion. Absolutely. Um, she knows better. She knows better. Some people are just all too used to being dysfunctional and they're not willing to do better. They're not willing. I believe we all can do better. But again, people are acclimated to being around a dysfunctional environment, or that's how they grew up, or whatever. Um, they're not willing to do better because I know I often say, well, sometimes people don't know better because of how they grew up. But I'm now having second thoughts about that. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. It's like using the excuse for, a temper. Oh, well, I have a temper because I'm Italian. My grandmother had a temper, or my mother had a temper, or my father had a temper. Using those excuses. But I truly believe, despite any dysfunctionalities or trials and tribulations that we go through growing up, we all can do better. And I think she settled. That's my opinion. I think Merv has settled. Um, and like the banner running across the bottom of my screen, attitude is everything, right? Attitude. Read what I put on the bottom, the banner going by. So basically, your attitude changes your or compromises your altitude. So if you have a negative attitude, how high, how successful you become in life, however you want to define success. And I don't define success by money. Um, I think success to me, like money to me, is not a blessed life. Um, Surrounding myself with amazing and incredible people to me is success. Money is just a perk. I know I heard them say that. She acts as if she didn't hear them. She does like it. Weird, just very strange. Hey, look at if Angela, people want to do drama and we all know it gets more views, right? Then go for it. But you got to have boundaries. You got to have boundaries because all you're doing is showing people who you really are. And then I find out that wasn't the first time she did that. Somebody sent me a link, emailed me a link from about a year to 2 years ago. It's not an just as 1 year ago of her getting those calls and doing the same thing. And they were against her kids. So it's the same exact thing. Like BBT has said, there are patterns. It's just different people. The her victims, whomever she goes after, they're just different people. It's awful. Just telling lie after lie about her ex subs. She knows they know the truth. Look at some people often spoke about feeling loyal, right, to a person. Um, why? Some people think, why don't they leave? Oh, they must feel a sense of loyalty. Loyalty, to me, and what I've learned through life and through hearing other people speak, motivational speakers, loyalty isn't forever. And friends, God puts people in our lives for a reason and for a season, right? And for a season. When I think of loyalty, I think of um, that you're going to have that person in in your life for the rest of your life. That they make such a profound um, meaning to your life that you want them around for the rest of your life. That to me is loyalty. Hey, Ryan, I'm on a live in an hour. Yeah, yeah. So I think too, Merv to me is someone who uses sabotage. Okay, she an opportunist, right? It's like charming people to get in the door, right? And then you behave like an asshole. Hey, rabbit dog. Hey, I saw your the replay of your live stream yesterday. It was good with Antimony. Good job. Yeah, Wendy, I agree. Very emotionally stunted, very childlike. Hey, Melinda, very childlike, pussycat. No, they some of the people in the chat, plus if you do something more than 30 days, it becomes a habit. That's why they don't leave right away. It's almost like she's thinking, let me figure out a way to mess things up. But I'll tell you, dysfunction is not a success. So when she says her channel's not doing well, that we're all responsible for her channel. No, no, it's her attitude. Okay. It's her level of dysfunction. It's her altitude, right? It's her attitude that is compromising her altitude. So if she thinks a shitty attitude is going to grow her channel and build it up and be successful. She's wrong. She's wrong. Yeah, Purple Butterfly Scooter, you're the company you keep. For I don't know her. For all I know, she could be a wonderful person in real life. She probably is. But unfortunately, we are often judged by the company we keep. Is it right? I don't I don't know. I mean, if your child was hanging out with someone who was a bad influence, we certainly step in and say, hey, I don't want you hanging out with that person. I'm concerned for your safety or for the choices you make, especially if you have a child or a loved one who is a follower and not a leader. If your job doesn't bring you happiness, get a new one, preferably one with a retirement plan. Yeah. And she's welcome. Merb, you're welcome. Hi, Merb, by the way. You're welcome to take a link. It seems like you got a lot to say. So let's talk. Take a link. And basically, it's like, yeah, get a new job. It's like almost like saying to someone, you're out of shape, but you're out of shape with your job. And again, it's attitude, and if your goal is success, and if you have a problem with others, um, then you'll never get to the top. You won't. And it's like her pride and ego is out of control. And it's killing her channel. That's my opinion. Bye, Evie. Oh no, what happened to Evie's cat? She lost her cat? Didn't she have Scooter and Tears on the hell vacation? I have no idea. I do know that when Scooter came back, she uploaded a video from her vacation and was told to take it down. I'm still perplexed about this protected class she threw out when it came to Nicole. So that's a free pass or something. To my understanding, protected class, uh, to my understanding, has to do with employment. I don't think it protects you from walking down the street and getting slandered. It's more employment based, but it's very often used on social media, right? I've seen it everywhere. If someone, has struggles with a mental health disorder, well, I'm a protected class, but yet they can bully and they can, I don't buy it. It's an excuse. It's an excuse. Good evening from Holland. Good evening, Wilhelmina. Of course, Merv wants everyone to think she's in great shape, and the pics told a very different story. Yeah, well, I'm talking about her job being out of shape, not her, her job, because her job is YouTube. Her job is YouTube. So why not treat it like a job? If this job was in her outside of social media, would you behave like that at an office in front of customers? No. It's like if a customer came up to you, say you worked in a bank, and a customer came up to you and wants to apply for a mortgage, you're going to sit there and lick the top of your yogurt cup? You know what I mean? Are you going to behave like that? So why? So in other words, her job on social media shouldn't be any differently than a job outside of social media. Yes, the rules don't apply to the class according to them. It doesn't make sense. Hey, Louise. I started watching her 3 years ago. She would talk about haters then. Her troll fan was being based on anyone new. Eventually, I grew tired of hearing about haters every week. Hey, J May. She isn't professional, but calls herself a business, no business license either, which is required. Yes, and she blames everyone else. Um, Basically, she disowns everything that you are doing. Um, so for someone who looks at her channel as being her wanting to be her success, this is not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it. And it's again that those prank calls just made me so sick to my stomach. And she will never apologize. I mean, I'm sure maybe in my chat now, in her chat, that there are victims and survivors of SA that went through this as a child. And the way she handled it and treated it and allowed it is disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting. That she didn't disengage, that she intentionally put it on speaker close to the mic to make sure everybody heard it. And it wasn't just one call that came through and say, okay, well, the second time. She won't put it on speaker, and it got worse. Then the R word was mentioned, and it got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse. The echo chamber she needs her channel to be has become a painful silence chamber. Her current friends are terrified with hesitancy to speak. Yeah, like it's amazing that, it's almost like they're cued, and if someone does talk, she has a habit of talking over them. Um, and the disregard for the subject matter at hand, and their only concern was, we're gonna find you, you're stupid, your number's out there, but yet totally ignored the whole subject that was coming through and about her own children. I remember her receiving those calls ages ago. Yes, yeah, I thought memory's definitely fuzzy, but I thought it was during her battle with Natasha. I'm not sure because I don't watch Natasha and I don't watch Merv. Um, so I don't know what went down between those two, but someone did send me a link. That's a YouTube video of Merv's. It's posted 1 year ago. It could be 1 year in 11 months, so it could be close to 2 years. Um, of the same thing, the prank calls talking about SA. Hey, you mean girl, how are you? The cast of her panel these days are nothing more than psychopaths. Has anyone noticed when calls come, Scooter's not in chat? Hey, I guess I can't debate that. I mean, anything is possible. To me, it's suspicious that the calls stop as soon as she's done with the subject at hand, because she gets into true crime, blah, 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 reads an article really fast. Yep, that's it, that's it. And then on to crafts or whatever. And then when it comes to the drama and attacking people, it's like clockwork. Those calls come in. And if she goes from that to another subject, say go to crafts, all of a sudden the calls stop. But that's just an observation. So I'm just, what I'm saying to you is that her blaming everyone else for this is a crock of shit. It's a crock of shit. She is what she creates. You are what you create. She can't blame other people. If this is her job, she calls it her job, her business. She should run it like a business and stop putting the blame and the guilt or try to put the guilt on other people. She falsely accused me of uploading a nasty video about her in Facebook group. I emailed her say I don't belong to your Facebook group. She also called me out in a live. If you go back, each battle she's ever had with someone, each time, whoop, it's the same fight, accusations, and nastiness with everyone. She's never wrong. She just, yeah. Yeah, and BBT does a great job at pointing that out. Who has phones these days? Yeah, the only people I know who have landlines are people who have no service. Like if you go up north, like um, I have I have a relative who has a house up in New Hampshire, um, and where they're located, it's seasonal. It's just for the summer. There's no service. You have to drive like 5 miles to get a cell phone connection. Those are people who have landlines. She's hooked on the whole child P narrative. Yeah, Elizabeth, it's disturbing. It's freaked me out. Let's just put it that way. It's freaked me out. I have a landline, but it's for the internet. I think she knows better, but She's not willing to do better. She doesn't want it bad enough. That's how I look at it. If you're striving for success in a business, she doesn't want it bad enough. A video came up in my feed from a year ago. It was almost word for word what she's been spewing. If you couldn't tell by the people who aren't in her chat anymore, you wouldn't know it was old. Right. Never any evidence, never any proof. And I'll tell you, these people that are so quote unquote loyal to her, look at it. Like I said, loyalty is temporary. Unless you can say to yourself, I can see this person being a part of my life for the rest of my life. That's loyalty. But loyalty is like friends. They come and they go. Some come for a long time, some come just for a season. Um, and sometimes in our life we reach a capacity. It's like being on a boat, right? And in order not to sink, you're holding on to it. Why? Because you feel loyal, but you're sinking. You're sinking. Loyal to what? So what you're telling people is that this person is someone that you can imagine being in your life for the rest of your life, that they're holding you up, that they're keeping your boat afloat in life. Because again, to me, money is not a blessing, but the people whom I choose to hang around with, who inspire me, who are positive. So tell me, is that loyalty? You know, when your boat is sinking, or when your friend's boat is sinking and you're all holding on, trying to prevent it from capsizing. Losing Nana P and Lisa D was a big hit. Yeah, and again, some friends only come for a season. Let them go. Let them go. She's trying to hold on to people in that analogy, like her own boat is sinking, and she expects these friends to be loyal to her when her boat is sinking. At some point, people will leave to save themselves. Loyalty over there equals desperate and lonely. Sad, but still should know better. Do the right thing. Don't support her. Crap. She needs to recognize when that season is over, you know, and she can't, or she doesn't want to. And loyalty expires. People come, they go like seasons. In a new season of new friends can come along, you know. She's not the victim. She's not the victim because she decides every day what she wants to do with her day, just as we all do, right? We show up to events or go out with people or do whatever we do by the choices we make. So she is no victim whatsoever. She has decided when she clicks that live button, the choices she makes, what road she wants to go down, what paths she wants to talk about. as she's trying to be a successful business. Someone has tried to control me, my time and mind. It mostly made me leave. Oh, yeah, Floor. I hear you. Same here. Lisa D and her family socialized with MRB and her family. They were more than online friends, but clearly MRB didn't take Lisa D's counsel regarding her son. The best thing that anyone can do is you've got to know yourself and know your worth and your truth. I don't lose sleep over people like Merb. And I'll tell you, people say, well, I slept last night. Did you really sleep? I mean, sleep, rest, rest. If you live a life with such dysfunction and negativity and hate that she spews, do you really rest? And I'm not saying staying up 24 hours. You can be closing your eyes, right? But do you truly rest? There's a difference. I rest. She doesn't rest. She runs around like she doesn't have a choice. Like she does. She runs around like she doesn't have a choice. Like everything is everyone else's fault. Everyone else is controlling her. No, no, she has choices. So that's the direction she chooses to walk in. And you want to surround yourself with people who choose to evolve in life for the better. She can't rest. I literally think she's unable to switch off. That's because her attitude sucks. It sucks. She can't miss one day just in case her steps go somewhere else. I suspect those in her present chat are rethinking about vacationing with her next year at the Shellcation. Oh, you mean 2023? Everyone has a choice. They have a choice. And if it goes wrong, if it goes bad, they can't blame anyone, literally, because that's the choice they made. And all they can do is learn from it, grow from it, right? God gives these experiences to us to learn and to grow through it. You go to it and you grow through it. You know what I mean? Sad being married to you too. They held to the no. Is she in here? Did I miss the? Yeah. What is the predator doing today? I have no idea. This is the first time I've been on. Well, no, I went on to heart some comments and respond. I was a couple of days behind. I'm not subscribed to her, so if she did go live already, I wouldn't know. There's a link pinned if anybody wants to take it. She's buys and her subs and others. Yeah, she's in here now. Wave to her. Hi, Merv. Take a link. Take a link. I mean, I'm sure you want this all to end, right? Right? Take a link. I'd like to know why that video was kept up or not even edited out from that prank call with the SA conversation because it's disturbing. And there are victims and survivors out there. That video is open to anyone. And also, if your children know your channel, what's to stop them from watching that? Do you think that you telling them it's just a prank call won't affect them? Do you think it's not disturbing enough for anybody to have to hear that? She won't take a link because I don't believe she wants it to stop. She'd rather keep it going so she can blame everybody else. When Lisa took the seltzer out of the box, look what she did. What did she do, Nicole? Do you remember the live she did the night before leaving for Hellcation? Scoot had to talk her off a limb. No, I don't remember. I don't give her view if I don't. Excuse me, if I don't have to. And I think if anybody wanted to leave her, it takes courage because we know history has shown us over and over and over again what happens if you leave, even if you leave and say, hey, no hard feelings, just too busy, whatever the reason. And you can stay silent and say nothing. And eventually, Nana Patty did it. And eventually, she will throw you to the wolves. I'm a survivor. No amount of pleading ignorant will make this better for her or subs. Yeah, yeah. I mean, a person of SA who is a survivor, you know, these people, including myself, are saying to you, take it down, edit it out. Don't take the whole video down, edit it out, edit it out, because maybe it affects us and it's not healthy. And it's not healthy. I mean, didn't you strike my video because you think showing a cartoon, the Flintstones, a minor child may come across it? Wasn't that your reasoning behind striking that video that had 12 seconds of your audio in it? And your concern was if a child came across the Fred Flintstone thumbnail, that they would be affected by that video of insults from movie clips. And look what you're doing then. Make that make sense, Marb. Make that make sense. That a child could come across your video hearing a prank caller talk about using the R word against a child. And I don't even believe it's not even 18 and over. Did you put that video on adult only? Because if you didn't, it's open for anybody, even a minor child, including your own children and their friends. Who knows? Yeah, Vicky. She will never admit ever, ever. It's all or nothing. Never. I've never heard her apologize. Genuinely apologize. Okay, Floor. You can say the sky is blue. She'll tell you it's purple. So, Merb, if you keep saying, your channel is your business, you treat it like, it's your job, it's your only source of income, um, then why don't you run it like a business? Why aren't you running it like a business? So when your business is failing, it's like blaming a customer who comes into the store, and if they stop coming, or if they come in and start yelling at you, is that going to destroy your business? No, you do better. You do better. You listen to them. Why are they yelling? Why are they complaining? You have to look at yourself first. Because if you have this attitude of, oh, I don't like this customer, and that customer sucks, and this customer sucks, you'll never get them back. And that's how you're running your channel, your job on YouTube. Trust me, Merck still has people leaving that just under alt names so they don't get thrashed. Yeah. I love how she talks with Jimmy when he isn't agreeing with her. She does that with everyone. She'll cut them off or talk over them. There's a link pinned if anyone wants to come up. She needs to leave Nana Patty alone before Papa Smurf makes another video. It makes her cry. Maybe if your business is failing, it's the owner or environment. Maybe you need to look into a real job. Mm. You gained another 80 in 3 weeks. Good for you. When is your 10 days up? And so Merv has to prove she's she's taking you to court, right? And if she doesn't take you to court, it doesn't that fall under false flagging or false something? Like, don't you have to like click a box when you strike someone under laws of perjury or whatever? So she's falsifying. Um, all these channels she struck, 9 channels. Did she ever take Natasha to court? Did she ever take the other 8 people's channels she struck to court? I haven't heard anything. Next Friday. Really? That seems like a long time. Seems like it would be sooner than next Friday. Or must be 10 days from when you won the strike. Okay. Yeah. Nicole, she came after me once recently when I did my live stream at this pet cemetery, and criticized me because I only had a handful of people in my chat. Let me tell you something, Merv. That just shows who you really are. Okay? I don't care if I have one person in my chat. I will stay and I will respect them and still go on with my live stream. It is not a reflection of who I am as far as the numbers. I don't base my life and the quality of my friends based on how many there are. Obviously, you do, that you have to take time out of your day to criticize my subscribers who did come to my live stream. Yeah, she has people on a panel every night. She won't take anyone to court. She's been saying this for years. Well, she's falsifying then because she's telling YouTube when you strike a person that you have to prove to YouTube, prove it, that you're taking them to court, that you're going legal. So she has to provide that proof. And if she keeps doing this and doesn't provide proof, she's going to get the attention of YouTube as a false flagger. Hey, Up the Larks, how are you? I got your email. Thank you. It's the same group of women who don't work and just use it as a chat gossip section. Yeah, that 24-hour Zoom. Oh, joy. Oh, joy. But you have to be a member or a Patreon to join it. So it's almost like a paywall, you know? Actually, it is a paywall. So, Merb, I never pay. The number of people that come into my live streams do not define me as a lesser person. It defines you as an asshole. That so if you were to go live and you only had 6 or 10 people in your chat, so basically you're looking at them as not worth it, right? Not worth what? Going live because you base your friends over quantity, and I base it um, as quality. So the numbers don't matter to me, Merv. But nice try. It's the most juvenile thing. Look how many subscribers she only has in her chat. She's only got, but yep, but there you were, Merv, in my live stream, you creep, at the pet cemetery. There you were. Don't you have something better to do? You have children to raise. My children are grown. Do something with them. Occupy your time instead of, following the, people that you don't like and going into their live streams, getting, how many people are in their live. What can I say about that? And like I said, if I had one person in my stream, I still would have done that entire live stream because that one person means something in someone to me. But obviously to you, it's all about the numbers, right? And you don't value your friends unless there's how many in there? What's your number at? Wonder why she never has prank calls with drama on her selling napkins channel. Did she actually use that channel? I don't even know where that channel is. I don't care, but she whined about only having 14 in her chat. She was going to leave YouTube. That's so rude. Molly Golightly used to do that. She used to do it. If there were like 17 people in there, she used to be like, this isn't enough. This isn't enough. And she would end it immediately. Just boop, gone. Gone. She would say it's not worth my time. You're welcome, Wendy. We're prank calls in the middle of a Del Decoupage session. Yeah, her timing is impeccable, isn't it? That's right. 1 or 100, you show appreciation and value. I don't think she's using that channel, but she's molesting those shells. She's gets no prank calls during that time. Nothing upsets her, money grabbing. Yeah, because she think, to her, money is a blessing. That's the difference between me and her and I. Okay. The first blessing before money to me is the value of my family and my friends and who I surround myself with. But to her, it's money. And as much as her channel is tanking, you know, her value, it's affecting my business. It's all about money, money, money. But again, if it's your job, your business, treat it as a business. You can't blame other people. This is your business. It's like if you had a business outside of social media, it's your business. Why would you expect your customers to run it? No. So take ownership, take responsibility, be accountable, and stop complaining and stop bitching and stop playing the victim because you are not. Hey, Denise, I've been chatting here a short time and you chatted back more than Merv did the 4 years I was on her channel, and you haven't mocked and made me feel I was wrong. Thank you. And I'll tell you, when I when I parody her, I swear to God, the aura is horrible around me. And I know people, oh, it's great, you're so funny. I'll tell you something, it's when you suck up that energy from such a negative person, it drains the hell out of me. It does. I feel like when I shut down my live, I just want to go to bed. And empaths, that's what we do. We absorb people's energy. And I mean, hey, Gladys, she's not going back. Merv lost a customer she really wanted to buy napkins. Who's that? What did I miss? Gladys, who is that? My advice to everyone is not to give her a view. Not to give her a view. And it'll save yourselves from feeling miserable. I mean, after that, those prank calls and the essay, it's it's so sickening. And like I said, I'll only watch like if someone were to say paint, you know, and I need to call something out where she goes again after BBT, I may watch for a while, but uh-uh. Hey, Zelda. Zelda, I'm sorry about your cat. I was telling my dad, um, oh, in Zelda. So Zelda and I were on the phone talking the other day, and I was on my way to my dad's house. And I was telling Zelda how my cat, years ago, I was in college, got taken by a hawk, and my dad saw the whole thing. As I'm telling Zelda this story, a red-tailed hawk came flying down in front of my vehicle and picked up a little squirrel, or it may have been a chipmunk, right in front of my car as I'm telling the story about how this hawk took my cat years ago. And he perched himself up on top of someone's roof on like a steeple. And I ended the call with Zelda to videotape it. and he just, well, beautiful bird, gorgeous bird. But it was just weird that I'm talking about this hawk, and all of a sudden this hawk comes in front of my car and takes a squirrel. BBT's, she's doing okay. I haven't talked to her since that night, but I texted her. She knows she can reach out to me. She's hard to get a hold of. Seriously. She's very difficult to get a hold of. Yeah. Yeah, Zelda, I'm so sorry about your cat. Yeah, I was telling my dad about your cat, Zelda. And we were talking about, like, even in New England, um, dogs go missing, cats, um, by coyotes. I've seen them up close. I've seen them, at nighttime taking the garbage out. You see these two spots, these two eyes in the darkness, and you're like, oh my God, it's a coyote. And they've even, um, small children, babies, if someone's out in their backyard and it's hot, it's awful. Two scooters, your health will be suffering more each day. The negative eats away at your health. Soon you'll totally lose your health. Absolutely. It's like poison to your body. Absolutely. And it's been proven. And that's not to say she has to leave, Merb, but you have to create boundaries, even with friends, you know? Say, look I'm here to support you, but, you know, not not in this case. I mean, it seems like their friendship is all or nothing, or everything is all or nothing with Merb, right? You can't have boundaries. You can't tell her, if she were my friend, I'd be like, look you know, let me know when you're doing something that isn't yelling at somebody or blaming somebody, or, but I can't do that. You can set boundaries with people, with your friends, your family members. But I have a feeling Merv doesn't accept boundaries. Hey, Scott Black, what's up? How you doing? Getting ready for winter? Scooter sees the red flags. Your deaf white cat slipped out in April. A fox took her. Oh no, Angela. Yeah, foxes too. Yes, and small, yeah, small dogs, especially if you live in an area where you just let them run around. You're asking for trouble. We have a leash law here. I remember growing up and there were always dogs running around. But now, most places or around me, they have leash laws, and you have to have your dog on a leash. You have to. And can you imagine just letting your dog out and they don't come back? I'm talking a smaller dog, Shih Tzus or Chihuahuas, or forget it. Busy time of the year coming up. Yeah, I bet. Wait till you have to start listening to Christmas carols over the loudspeakers 24/7. It's the only thing I don't like about the holidays. Anywhere you go, Christmas songs. And last year they started before Halloween, so I'll be curious this year when I start hearing them in the store. I like watching Scooter's video when she had family gatherings, fun family. Can't say I ever watched, maybe I've watched one video of hers. Um, and I think it was a short video with an apology or to Merv about, I'm so sorry this is happening to you, or I don't know, something like that. It was like, yeah, whatever. Why don't you just call her and tell her? You got to go out and make a video. A coyote snatched a mid-sized dog on its leash being walked downtown Gresham last year. The coyote came right up to the stairs to grab Felix. Oh, I'm so sorry, Zelda. And I know your husband is feeling very, very horrible and responsible. But you know what? We can't live our lives by if onlys or why. I mean, I remember I told my dad the other night, I'm like, Dad, remember my cat? She came back beat up and they let her out. But what am I gonna do? You can't blame. But if only you did this, but we can't live life like that. We have to trust in God. We just have to trust that He has a plan for all of us, including creatures, you know? Pink. One of our local radio stations provides an online holiday stream. Then they play it on the actual radio after Halloween. Merv's current panel is 100% her kind, no disrespect, just saying. Hey, Ethel. Yeah, Merv, take a link. It's pinned to the top. Anyone can take a link. But take a link, Merv. Scooter, take a link. Come on, Scoots. I know you're watching. It's like you were in Randy's last night. I know you. Randy had It's Randy's Life had a good stream last night. It was fun. One Win was there too one day. They're so good together. They complement each other. I've forgiven Larry. He's hurting too. It happened when Hurricane taken so much. I'm not only suffering loss, somebody said. Yeah. Hey, Sarah. Can I pretend I'm Merb? Yeah, take a link, Zelda. Link's pinned to the top. You want to do a parody? You're actually worried about Scooter's health. Look, Scooter's a big girl, okay? She's a big girl. We all can do better, and we all know better. You know, it's the choices we make every day, whether it's if we choose to go out with our friends or we know what we're up against, whether it's good or bad or, you know, she's making her own choices. Nobody's forcing her. And she very may well not see what we see. We're all giving her the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes I wonder, well, you know, takes one to know one, you know? I mean, does she do live streams and offer advice or, share with people, her life experiences or offer positivity to people or show us a little bit of her moral compass? I don't watch her, but I will. Oh, live eagle cams. Yes, I've seen those. I saw one when the eagle laid their eggs. Except for Nicole in her URL alter ego. Probably not the right time, but I watched a live Eagle game. And they came back up for the season tonight. That's awesome. Okay, hold on. Okay, Zelda. As long as you're not porn bombing me. Whoops. Did I get her up? No. Why can't I get her up? Hold on. Yes. Oh.
Sound down on that one.
Hello.
Oh, this is Luna. Luna,
How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I just really sad. I got some napkins I was wanting to sell. I need to make a few dollars. You want to see my napkins?
Yeah, do you have a starting bid? Well, I gotta pay you. There's a cover charge first, so you need to PayPal me $50.
Let's see. I have some nice big napkins here, and looky here. Oh, and look at this napkin. Look at that.
Oh, Luna, you hit the jackpot.
Yeah, they're napkins. See?
Yeah.
They're little kitty cat napkins. I'd have said
wow.
pussy. Would have said pussy napkin.
pussy decoupage.
Decoupage. And then these have little flowers on them. These napkins here.
Wow.
And then I have some Depends. And I have some really thick napkins that take a lot of glue. That takes too much glue.
Well, you can dip them in water. I did my pine cone decoupage without Mod Podge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's another napkin. Yeah, another napkin. And let me get my piney cones. Pine cones are more pinier here in Oregon.
Really, we got big pine cones here.
They're piney.
Really big.
You want to see my other kitty? This is Buggers.
Aww.
Buggers got out. He got out the day after Felix was killed, and we knew we had coyotes there. So Larry stayed at the other end of the yard all day waiting to catch Buggers.
So how many cats do you have now? Like how?
I have Felix. I mean, Felix. I don't have Felix. I have the one outside feral cat.
Liberace, yeah.
Liberace. And he let me pet him on the head today.
Yeah.
But he's never purred. And then I have Bugsy and Misty, the cat that was Paul's, the guy that rented our guest house.
Mm-hmm.
But
they must sense that Felix is not there.
I don't know. Well,
oh my God.
Is that a big one?
That's so big.
These are off my trees. These are off my trees back here. So if you want one of these, I will send you one for a real. Oh, I'm walking away from the other end of the house.
What's the starting bid?
Well, let's see, $1 for each section of the pine cone, but there's no nuts. So there's about 50 leaves in these. Do you know about the Fibonacci code, the golden code? The Fibonacci. No. The 1 + 2 is 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 1 is 3. 3 + 1 is, I don't know. You know the Fibonacci code, the sequence, the golden sequence. Look it up. It's cool. It's the ratio. It's how sunflowers seeds get, packed in, all impacted, not fecal impacted, but impacted.
Thank you, Daniel.
Let me show you.
Do you have any vibrators? I mean, massagers?
Yes, I have them in pink velour. I have a bags,
Wow.
pink velour bags for my
Uh,
vibrators. Yeah.
uh,
Here. Oh, see? Here's my pink velour bag that holds my vibrator. But I
wow.
want to I want to show you what I can do with these pine cones.
Okay.
Here, I need my husband's
Angela.
help. Oops, he's
Hi,
coughing.
Larry.
He can't hear you because I got my headphones in.
Oh, okay. Well,
Just
tell him we
hold them
said
up here
hello.
like this. Okay. See what you can do with my piney cones? You wear them under your bra. Yep. And then you can get piney cones. Oh my gosh, we got 6 stink bugs on our windows. Oh my gosh, we got so many stink bugs.
Yeah, this is the time of year for us too, for stink bugs. They're creepy.
You guys got stink bugs too?
Yes, I had one last year. I had one crawling on me as I was sleeping.
Oh, I had one crawl in my tea as I was taking a drink.
Ugh.
And I could smell it as I was swallowing it. Oh, that was sick. But it's hot here, which is unusual for this time of year. It's 95 degrees
Oh my
right now.
goodness.
Yeah, 95. Can you see 95? I'm not
Yeah.
lying like Merb does. Anyway,
Stink bugs are those brown bugs. They're like, I don't know,
marmorated
maybe
stink bugs,
an inch
half inch.
long, and they have long antennas, and
Yep,
they go very slow.
and they
They look,
stink like crazy. Oh, they
yeah, I've
stink.
never killed one. Like the
Oh,
one that was in my bed last year crawling on me, I just grabbed it with a Kleenex and I threw it outside. But
they stink something horrible. And they come down our chimney and our fireplace. If I open my fireplace, I bet you I have a bunch of stink bugs in there.
you.
Yeah. But I was listening to Merb go from
Tell me.
3 years ago, 4 years ago. When she had the unibrow and she was always
Yeah.
going like this, always going, ooh. And she looks so different. Come on, Otis, come here. Come
She needs
here.
to cut her hair. She needs to do something with her hair.
But with so many, I saw that there is some YouTubers and TikTokers that
Yeah.
that are really nasty people, and people are going around throwing acid in their face as
Wow.
retaliation.
Yeah.
So I'd be afraid to be nasty, but I was listening to her, and it's when I was a first member of her, when I was first sub to her,
Hmm.
and she was always just reading. And then when she got ugly is when I moved away. But the feeling that I got every time I'd listen to her just to check her out, I get that awful feeling in my gut.
It's her.
And that,
Yeah. I get that aura around me.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that negative stuff
Yeah.
hurts your immune system. It's really bad.
Hmm.
All those, it's toxic. All those that are defending her and engaging in that nasty negative feeling, they're getting that nasty negative feeling too. And it
Exactly. And that
really does.
prevents
Yeah.
them from a true rest. And when I say resting, sleeping, I don't mean you're up all night. To get
Right.
a true rest, your mind has to be cleared of, you have to have your
And
mind with positivity and make good choices. And she
and
goes on at what, 2 o'clock in the morning? I'm sure these people go to
no,
bed after with
till
that shit in
four
their head.
o'clock. Till
Yeah,
yeah, they can't sleep. Till
you can't.
she's up.
You
She
you
sleeps
can
2 hours
rest
a
for,
day.
but you can sleep for 8 hours, but that doesn't mean you get a true rest when
Right.
you're filled with that kind of negativity.
And I
you know?
talked to her long ago. I said, you're not sleeping. She says, I only need to sleep 2 hours a day. I says, but it's going to catch up with you one of these days. I was really concerned for her. Boy, don't I look ugly.
You're
And it
fine. No,
matches the way I'm feeling. But
2 hours. No.
that's not enough. And you need to sleep in the dark because the darkness in the room gives your body those natural antibiotics. I took a couple of courses in from Dr. Charles Thomas. He was a East Indian guy, and he's into natural medicine and natural health. And he was a doctor there in a University of Loma Linda, a medical center. And he talked about sleep in the dark, and that people that are up all night and who work the night shifts and don't sleep
Hmm.
in a darkened room, their bodies suffer, and they're the ones getting Alzheimer's and dementia
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
or
heard that. Like lack
autoimmune
of
stuff.
sleep, they're finding that that can be a contributing factor to dementia. Mm.
And fibromyalgia too. You wait and see. Merb's going to have fibromyalgia within 10 years. When she
Oh,
hits, how old is she?
stress, definitely. Even people with lupus, a lot
Yes,
of these autoimmune disorders are perpetuated by stress because
yes.
it whacks out the immune system. Yeah.
Well, I was essayed when I was 4, and then again when I was 14. I was kidnapped and kept for 2 nights and told that he was going
Oh
to
my
kill me and my
God.
sisters. And he shot at my deer 2 weeks later. He killed my deer, my pet deer, in front of me. It's all on my story there on my
Sorry.
on
Yeah.
my YouTube. But anyway, all that negative stress. I'm the only one in my family that has severe pain, and I have fibromyalgia. I have Ehlers-Danlos, which is a rare genetic disease. But the doctor said all that stress I endured as a child. And then having my mom say negative things, hearing her talk negative all the time,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
has an effect. And those kids can hear from the other room their
Oh,
mom
absolutely.
talking ugly. And I heard her call her son a stupid idiot because the ice cream melted. I'd rather get slapped than have my mom
Yeah.
call me a stupid idiot. That is hurts for a long time, being told you how stupid you are for not putting the ice
What
cream
did you,
away.
Zelda, what did you think of those prank calls in the fact that she
Ha!
engaged with that topic?
I
Not,
wouldn't
not,
have.
I'm not here to debate that she made them herself or whatever.
She
Doesn't
should
matter. The
never.
fact that she
Uh-uh.
engaged with a conversation like that, referring to her own children,
She was enjoying it. It gave
sick. It
her.
made me sick.
Yeah. It's horrible because her kids are listening to that and they're thinking, well, what does that mean? I think. I think anybody who does those kind of things to a child, a pedophile, is demon possessed. And when they do that to a child, that puts a marker on them, because you are not a victim. Is never just once. It's done 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and it's generational. Because it happened to me 5 or 6 times. And I asked my counselor, why does this keep happening? And she says, because it's a demon that has followed you your whole life. So what Merv is doing is she's putting demons on her kids. But that's my own crazy thinking. Well,
But
my counselors.
she didn't even have an afterthought. Like, you know how you sleep on something and then the next day you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Or like,
No, she went
it
on to the
just
next
stays
subject.
there.
She went on
No,
to the
but
next.
even knowing that video is up, she
Yeah,
hasn't even like think about it. Like she doesn't see the wrong in that. She doesn't see that it's disturbing to anyone, including survivors or victims of SA.
she's making her kids victims.
Mm,
Yeah, she's making her kids victims, and it's sad because they're going to listen to this, even if they're not listening now. They're going to listen next year, or their friends are going to say something, or their friends' moms,
yeah.
parents are going to say something. Well, I heard that there was somebody after you, and Something is wrong in that family. There's serious stuff going on. So why doesn't Jimmy stop it? What does she have over him? What does she know about him?
Well, even
That
belittling somebody, like she did when he made the frosting, the cake
oh,
with the
that was
birthday.
sad.
That's abuse.
That
To
was
belittle
sad.
somebody, that's abuse. So
I
maybe,
would never do that to my husband. Never.
I don't know how to feel about him because as an adult, you would just think that, you would say something or no more. But then look at the Johnny Depp trial. Look, he was abused.
Yeah. Yeah. That was terrible. Please stand by for this commercial break. We have some Gray's mustard oil here. If anybody would like this
Starting
here
bid.
starting bid used oil. This is it's a jar from 1950s. Keep out of eyes. It says keep. It's not a bandage, and keep out of your eyes. It's hot mustard sauce. Ooh, hey, rabbit dog. I got a thing for rabbit dog. He's my new boyfriend. Is he waiting?
He's in here.
Is he waiting?
Yeah, waiting for what?
Oh, I thought he was coming to come on in. But yeah, we should
He can
do
come
a
on.
bid on my napkins. I really need to make some money, with Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we're on Social Security right now. We're living on Social Security. So, and I need to fill my last time we filled my a diesel tank on my motorhome, it cost $1,000.
Oh my
So
God.
I was hoping somebody could help me with fill my tank. I'm gonna get a
Sure, we'll send you $1,000.
fill my tank. Yep, fill my tank because I need to go somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere.
Well, and let us know if you ever lose your electricity, even though you got a generator.
I know
We'll
we
help you
have.
out with that too.
Did you see our generator? It, it's
Yes,
it's
yes, you showed
it's
it to me one day.
4,000 kilowatt generator. It's as big as a car engine.
Yeah, yeah, it is big.
14 seconds after the electricity goes off, it turns on. So, and I need a new embroidery machine. I want the 10 needle embroidery machine.
Okay.
See,
Do you need a new
see,
computer? A gaming computer?
yeah, see that embroidery machine.
Yeah.
That's only a 6 needle. It's a baby lock. Can you see that it's a baby lock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I need a house cleaner. I need 2 house cleaners now. So, and I want to get this bed like Jules has. See that bed? That's my
Yeah.
hookah bed. My hookah bed.
Wow.
And the kitty. Come here, kitty, kitty. Come here, you snotty cat. I have another rag doll. It was Paul, the guy that lived with us.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, his rag doll, Misty, lives with us. She's a big, big dog, cat.
Yes, Sherry, you
Anyway,
can put your wish list in too. Absolutely. Anybody got a wish list? We'll
yeah,
post them.
yeah.
Tis the season.
And I want a jar of postum too.
And don't forget Hanukkah. Hanukkah's coming too, y'all.
Kwanzaa too. Kwanzaa.
Yep. Kwanzaa. obviously, Merv forgets that, she thinks everybody is a Roman Catholic, throwing out her
Oh,
Catholicism as a weapon to everybody. We're all going to hell. We're all going to hell.
yeah. Well, God is on my
Except her.
side.
Yeah.
Well, the Bible says to love one another, and let me tell you, she's not loving one another. So,
Mm-mm.
and I get kind of upset at myself because I hate her so much. But it angers me the way she treated Jules. That she says that was Molly Golightly. That was not. That was Jules. Because she talks about her filler and her dentures and stuff like that on the sauce. So
Wow.
it's just sad. But I know
Well, you
Jules
know
was
what?
going through
Like
so
I said,
much
you
then.
are what you create. What she puts out there, the law of attraction, is what she's going to get back.
Yep,
That's life.
yep,
That's
yep,
life. And it's
for sure.
frustrating because you feel so helpless, especially for her kids, but
Yeah.
all you can do is pray and hope that, they take a
Sh
crappy situation and just immerse themselves in
You know,
education and become achievers.
I wish my sister would come on. She's a psychologist. My other sister's a university professor in large animal breeding
Could you get your
and
sister to come on?
but she did some studies on being addicted to the Facebook and to
Yeah,
gaming
social media.
and
Yeah,
online, yeah, social media. She says it changes the brain.
yeah,
It
yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
changes the brain. So
Yeah.
sh Merb is so addicted, she cannot put it down for one day. I was thinking of giving her and making a challenge, offering her $1,000 for her to stay off social media for 7 days. I don't think she could do it. Hi, J May. J May, call me. I
Mm.
lost your number. I think I was sick when you called me. Uh, but yeah, she cannot stay off. It's such an addiction. It's like stronger than heroin, I think. Stronger than, I mean, worse than
Oh,
Oxycontin.
it it definitely affects the brain as like any addiction does with the dopamine, and absolutely, it's you're right. It's like taking heroin, except, um, heroin is an illicit drug, but social media is a drug in itself where, it attacks the brain, it changes the brain, it rewards, that false sense of reward for the dopamine center. It's just, it's dangerous. It causes depression. It can trigger mental disorders, anxiety. It's just, it's not good. Nothing of, too much of anything is never good. Never. But oh, Zelda bounced off. Phone died. Plug it in. The link's up top if anyone wants to come on. But yeah, I would just let's start a GoFundMe 5K if Merck can stay off YouTube for a week. Who's with me? Yeah, I don't think she could do it. Hi, Jamie. I mean, look how upset she got when she lost her phone. That was crazy. That was crazy. Absolutely nuts. Well, Jenny, unfortunately, that's her journey she's on, and sometimes it becomes unmanageable, like any addiction, you know, your life becomes unmanageable. Yeah, all my sleeping cats. I remember I was on my way to work and my son was with me, and I heard that. I had to pull over at one point, and my son says, "Is she crying? No, is she laughing?" And I said, "I don't know yet."
I'm back
Hello,
in the show. I'm back in the show. Woohoo!
you're back in the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Emma.
you know, I know people want to say, give their condolences for Felix and stuff like that. And I didn't write anything on social media about losing Felix, um, because there's so many other people having a hard time and sadness. And I don't know. I mean, it was devastating to lose my cat.
But that shouldn't minimize, what your loss, you know? I
But
mean,
there's
people are
so much,
mindful of what else, all the things that are going on. And, losing an animal, I've been through it. A lot of us have. It's
yeah.
awful. And,
I don't know why I minimized it. Well, the hurricane was going on, and I was looking at everybody losing their animals, and I got to thinking of all those animals that lost their lives with that flood. And I lost when I lived in Florida. I lived in Fort Myers in that trailer park that was totally devastated. So my first child home was ruined, and then when I was 17 in Loma Linda, we lost another house. That house was totally ruined. There was nothing left. But I had
mm,
already left Florida by the time before the house, the trailer park got destroyed. But that's odd that I lost two family homes, two of my childhood homes completely by a flood.
yeah, yeah.
Really? And we've been having earthquakes up here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a lot of people are giving you condolences for Felix, and
Thank you.
you shouldn't feel less important. Your pain isn't any less important, says Louise. It's like losing a family member.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Felix chose me. I wrote a story about how he chose me. I went down to the store to get some bird seed at the bottom of the hill, and it was beginning to snow, and I wanted to make sure I had enough bird seed. And I was walking around, and Felix was just a kitten, and he was following me and talking to me, and
Hmm.
he kept touching me. And then I was there for half an hour. He followed me, and then I went to pay, and he jumped up on the counter, and he reached over and he touched my face like that. And the
Oh,
clerk says, he's never done this to anybody. He's choosing you. And I says, no, I
right.
have three cats at home. I can't pick another cat, and my husband would kill me. And I says, he'd make a nice cat for the store, for the feed store. She says, no, they don't want him. They throw him out at night. And somebody dropped a box of kittens off, and they've all died. The coyotes got him, and then
Oh,
they're on a major highway, and he's the last cat left. I says, oh dear, oh my. I could say, okay, I'll take him. But if my husband
yeah.
screams, I'll find a good home for him. So I carried him to my truck, and I forgot I had my black lab Satin. She was a therapy dog. Incredible. I did pet therapy, and there was some very awesome stories with how she healed people in the hospital, and
Hmm.
awesome she was. I have those on my channel, uh, about how I registered and insured her with Dove Lewis. And then what's that other pet? Uh, anyway, um, so she was really good with cats or any dogs or anything. So I opened my truck door, and there's Satin asleep on the back seat. And I thought, oh no, Felix is going to run. I thought, oh well, he was outside anyway. But here we are right by the highway. And so I put him in the truck, and he jumped in the back and curled up with Satin, like, hi,
Oh, that's so
hi, big
cute.
dog. But we have a back deck, and
Oh,
15 steps up the deck, and I think the coyote came up the deck, and I can't look at the security camera.
no, I wouldn't be able to either, Zelda.
Yeah.
Just the fact you saw the coyote there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And and we had a cougar get my duck, which was in a cage. Just it stuck its head out and it bit its head off. Misty,
Oh my God.
yeah, right here. And then the cougar got a bunch of goats. So the fish and game people said, gave the rancher permission to take it out, and he held the cougar up, 250-pound cougar.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got predators here, and I can't even go out to our flower garden without being armed. I have to take Mr. Smith with me because it's dangerous. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty lost without my
I'm
Felix.
sorry. I'm
I got
sorry.
Buggers, I got Otis, and I got Mr. Misty, Paul's cat. Paul's cat is grieving too. He misses Paul a lot. Here, Misty. He's a huge rag doll. Have you seen the pictures of him?
I think so. Yes, I have.
Yeah, with Paul. Yeah, here's Mr. Misty. Say hi, Mr. Misty.
Hello. He's cute.
He,
Hello.
he's so confused. He keeps wanting to go back to the apartment, the guest house where Paul lived for 6 years, 7 years. They lived there for 7 years, and now my sister lives there.
Is he an Angora? What they call Angora cats?
No, he's a rag doll. See his blue eyes? Rag dolls have blue
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
Oh,
But he's
he's
great.
beautiful.
Yeah, he weighs about 25 pounds. He's huge. He's the biggest cat I've ever had. And then Bugsy's from the same breeder,
Yeah.
Angelica Rag Dolls or Angelica's Rag Dolls, something like that, in Bend. But I'm not going to buy any more cats. I'll rescue from now on. And Scotty's, I wrote about Scotty's. We had Scotty dogs too, because Larry's Scottish. And
Oh, that
Scotty's,
picture. Yeah, the picture you put on your community post is beautiful. That
yeah,
white and tan Scotty.
yeah, that's Butterscotch. She's a Wheaton.
Yeah.
She was registered, and she was the mother of Kilty. Not no, she was a mother of Thistle and another Scotty. She had
Mm,
black Scotties, but my one Scotty, I bred Scotties, and they're not $400 each. Somebody says, "Wow, she spent $400 on a Scotty." No, Scotties are $2,000 each. At least
wow.
that's what we paid for our last Scotty.
Are they
Plus,
good around kids, those kind of dogs?
nope, nope. They
No?
bark. They're busy. They're very busy. They're known to be kind of snarly. They're not a dog for everybody,
Yeah.
right? What would you say about Scotties? The,
Scottish.
Larry says Scottish. Larry's a descendant of William Wallace and Braveheart.
Yeah,
So
Jenny says 2000 plus here, and she's in Australia.
yeah, and then to fly him, the our last Sweeten Scotty, Captain Sully, we got from Arizona. We had him flown here, and that was $700 to have him flown. So it was almost $3,000, and that was what 15 years ago.
Wow, it's a
But
lot.
we've just been rescuing animals ever since because there's so many dogs and cats in the cattery and the nunnery and the shelters. So
Hmm.
the best thing to do is to get a dog that's lonely that needs you and would love you.
That's what I'm gonna do is when I'm ready.
You got Hank. You
Is to
still
go
have
to a
Hank.
shelter. We still have Hank. Yes, yes. We love Hank, and we've had him what for I think 4 months now. You know, he's our foster dog. His
Yeah.
owner had to leave the house where she grew up in. She lost that house and to a
Oh,
reverse mortgage, I guess that her father took out. And it wasn't until after he passed away she was made aware that it was a reverse mortgage.
Oh
And
my.
my son would walk, would go over. She lives in the same town and would walk her dog 2 or 3 times a week. And I was living at my folks' house taking care of my mom, and my son texted me because he happened to be there the day that these people showed up to evict her.
Oh
And
no.
they were going to take the dog, but my son said, because the dog knew my son, do you mind if we take Hank until she finds a permanent home? And I said, go ahead. Yeah, of course not. I don't mind. What a good dog he is. He's 15 years old.
Oh.
Um, he loves to walk, and um, he's quiet. He's a great, great dog. He's part like he likes to sniff around. What are those bloodhounds? He's
Oh,
definitely a bloodhound. Yeah,
like, and that's a Scotty. They're always sniffing, always going around looking for rats, or because they used to be able to, you could pull them out of a hole with their tail, and they don't get hurt because they're bred to chase after vermin and stuff like that. And they're just always busy. And if you don't get it from a breeder that the parents, their line, uh, their what their personality is and everything, you could get a Scotty that is mean as can be and be barking and chasing everybody. And my dogs used to bark something crazy, but we live on several acres, but still,
right.
you can hear them barking from a mile away. Um,
It's a big responsibility. I mean, now with the cold weather coming, um, you know,
oh,
you've
and they
got to walk
drown.
these
They
dogs. You've got to
they don't
walk these
swim.
dogs. Um, and he's strong. Hank, even for 15 years old, he pulls
Wow.
me. I had to buy a new leash that had you can extend it so many feet, but you can
Yeah,
also reel it in. Um, and he's got one of those vests that go around him. He doesn't have a collar,
right. You should
but
never
he's
have a collar.
strong.
Never
He's
have a collar.
strong. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't even bring my cell phone with me when I'm out with him because if I try to even text somebody, I mean he pulls a lot because he loves to smell and explore, and he's still active for 15 years old.
Take a
So
video of him when you go for a walk.
yeah, yeah, definitely I should do that. But
But
they are a lot of work and it's a commitment. And
Scotties notoriously drowned. They are they like water. They're fearless, and they'll go jump in that lake. And because she doesn't use life vest for her own children, she's gonna not gonna have life vest for her dog.
I think I saw a life jacket on one of her dogs once, but not her kids. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
Otis has a pink life jacket from my other dog, my Shih Tzu, so he has to wear the pink Hawaiian one, the Lilikoi flowered
Yeah.
life jacket. But yeah, and you have to have life vests for those dogs because they'll drown in an inch of water, and they tend to run. Scotties are notorious for running away and exploring and rolling in horse poop and
Ooh.
eating eating slugs and snails and I
Yes,
had one.
yes, Yvette. Yeah. Yvette asked, does his owner come visit him? Yes, she does. And if he needs to go to the vet, she brings him to the vet. She brings him to trim his nails. She's very, very good with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
she loves him, huh?
She supplies his food. She'll give us money for his food. Yeah, she's very,
Oh,
very good to him.
I have Otis the Chihuahua. How old is he? He's 10 years old, 8 years old. Likes to pee everywhere. Oh, and Scotties, you try and housebreak a Scotty. Good luck with that. If she's got a little boy, I hope she does not going to breed them.
Well, they're known for not. some dogs, I always looked when we got our dog to make sure that they get along with kids because some dogs just don't.
Scotties
Um,
are not good around kids. I promise you that.
are they more territorial, like they attach themselves to one person?
Yes, they're called holy terriers. Holy holy terrors. I'm serious. They could. We had Ferguson. He was as mean as could be. He bit Larry. He bit Larry on the
Oh,
hand.
wow.
Yeah,
I
Larry
don't
broke.
like yappy dogs, and I had a Chihuahua. She wasn't a yappy dog. We lucked out, and when she was a puppy, we swaddled her. We brought her everywhere, out
Yeah,
shopping. We introduced her to people,
that's
um,
that's Otis.
and but she became the worst protector of the house. Like someone could break in, and she'll show them where the loot is. But very quiet dog. Never tried to bite or she was sweet. What a sweet
Otis is
dog.
very sweet, but he barks. If I just go, what's that? What's that?
Hi,
What's that?
Otis.
Odie,
You a
what's
good dog?
that? Imagine that at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now she's got the other dog, Mary Jane. I have a rescue pit bull. She's pit bull Labrador yellow lab mix.
Yeah.
And she belonged to the guy that does our yard. And he had to give her up. And I says, you can't take Mary Jane to the shelter. He says, nobody will have her. He says, because she's pit bull mix and she's older. So I says, oh, I'll take her. So I've had her for a couple of years, but she's getting
Oh,
kind of bad, her hips. And the doctor said, vet said she's in her last chapter of her life. So
no.
yeah. Anyway, Otis and her make a real pair. But she protects Otis when she goes potty at night. 'Cause our
Yeah,
yards
they
are
all, they all have their own characters.
yeah. Our yard is fenced, chain link fence, but still uh coyotes. Oh, and I had apples. I took a picture of my apples and I had beautiful apples. And I thought, I'm going to go out there and pick them and taste them. I bet you they're delicious.
Oh,
There
you have
wasn't.
apple trees?
Yeah. And pears and peach,
Oh,
cherries.
nice.
You have cherry trees. Yeah. But I went to go get the apples and they were all gone. And then the deer jumped the fence. They just go boing. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like it's nothing. They can jump a 7-foot fence. Yeah. Anyway, well, is there anybody else that wants to come up?
Yeah, Jamie, want to come up? Anybody?
J May. Hey, J
And
May. She'd probably out enjoying the nice weather. It's supposed to start raining here in a few days.
Lynette Brown says Jimmy should say enough is enough. And by the way, just an FYI, when the topic of that school was brought up, nobody accused Jimmy of
Oh,
participating in what
I didn't
happened
hear.
over there. The
I
point
didn't hear.
was, due to the interviews from the students that went there, it's been said that all the staff knew what was going on and
Oh,
nobody did
uh,
anything about it.
they knew
Yes, yes,
and
and
didn't do
and
anything.
there are lawsuits. Lawsuits are now starting to surface in the past couple of
Oh my
years,
gosh.
and the attorneys or the DA is requesting that more students that went to that school to come forward, and these lawsuits have been prosecuted successfully.
Anybody who keeps quiet about that is sick. There's something
Yes.
wrong with somebody who does not report that. Hi, J May.
Hi, Jamie. Uh-oh. Am I gonna get porn bombed?
Ooh, hey.
Uh-oh.
Is there
I
porn?
removed it. Yeah, I removed it. Not sure.
Hi,
Try
Merv.
again.
Hi, Merv. Try hugging your children.
Merb, take a
You
link.
did
Come on,
that.
Merb. Take a
Like
link.
I saw her stroking her
Don't be
Scotty.
mad. We're gonna get another live stream tonight, which I will not watch. So even though it's amazing when people mention your name, they just assume that that person is watching.
Yeah. And I
Don't
saw
flatter
her
yourself.
she was stroking her Scotty. I've never seen her stroke her kids that way.
Really?
Yeah, she was loving the Scotty like this, had it on her shoulder, that puppy, that's black
Well, her
Scotty.
intent, her intent is, what's the word for it? Uh, what's the word for it? When to be devious. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh
nothing's
yeah.
authentic. Nothing except that she's always in a bad mood or.
Yeah. What happens in the dark always comes to light. Yeah, I hope so.
Yep. Amen.
Yeah. What happened to J May?
I took her down because nobody was talking, and I got porn bombed the other day.
Oh.
Someone pretended to be Angela Critters.
Oh,
Yeah.
Angela Critters. All they have to do is put a period. Oh, I got scammed the other day. I got
Did
scammed out of
you?
$100. Yeah, I
You
got.
got scammed? You?
Yep, yep. I was looking at some products online. This lint roller, for $15. Who the heck would pay $15 for that? And these two mats at $65 each. Why would
Try
I
again,
want?
Jamie. Yeah,
But
go ahead.
anyway, when you click on their product, somehow they grabbed your old information and they sent me that. So I don't know how to get my money back.
Hi, Jamie.
Hey, I
Well,
gotta get my camera on.
did you pay it through PayPal? What did you pay it through?
Through it says Google Pay, and I only use PayPal. I never use Google
Is
Pay.
that you contact whoever you purchase it through, the lender
It's
or
from
the
China.
bank?
Yes, China. Yeah,
But no, forget them. You file a fraud report.
yeah. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so be careful when you're looking at stuff. Just looking at stuff, and they had my Google Pay card. But I've never used Google Pay ever.
Isn't Google Pay must be attached to something?
Yeah.
Does Google own PayPal?
What is
Is it
it?
deducted from your PayPal?
Well, PayPal. See, I use PayPal because you can always get your money back. Always.
Check your PayPal and see if it was deducted from there. Or contact Google Pay.
Because that's over $100. And then I got some
Yeah.
other stuff from some little plastic things from China. And I wonder what I was charged for that. But I used to buy clothing through Rose Gal.
Yeah.
And I like they're from China. I like their clothing, but
PayPal and Venmo are same, but not Google.
who is Google Pay?
So you may have attached your credit card or debit
Oh,
card
Google Pay
to
is
Google.
Okay, Google Pay is with your iPhone.
Yeah.
Huh.
So there's an option in the iPhone to attach it to Google Pay. You can just unclick it. It's obviously it's clicked if it went through Google Pay.
Oh.
So wherever your credit card or your bank card is set up, there's options with it, connected to this or that. You must have connected it to Google Pay.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah. Because Google Pay needs to be linked to something. Okay. All my sleeping cats. How many cats do you have? All my sleeping cats.
Jamie, how are you?
Well, I'm great. I had a great birthday dinner with my whole family and my
Happy
grandkids last night,
birthday.
and they took me to my favorite restaurant,
Did
and
you
we just
spit on
had
the
a
cake?
great time.
Did you
No,
spit?
no, we had tiramisu. My daughter-in-law bakes
Mm.
cakes, but she never bakes me one. But I don't care.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a cake person, So we just had a bunch of different desserts. And then when we were leaving, one of my sons had ordered a duplicate of my order because this is my favorite restaurant to take home. So
Oh,
I get to eat
nice.
my favorite food all over again today. So we had a great time. So contrary to what Merb says, we do have real lives and we have wonderful, warm, rich memories with our loved ones during those lives. And we have
Oh,
wonderful friends that we've met on YouTube and in real life. And
Mm-hmm.
and my son's taking me to the beach on Monday, and
oh,
we've narrowed down my beach lot purchase to 4 lots, and we're going to go walk them all, and he's
fun.
going to buy it for me.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I was
wow.
so
Wow.
surprised. I just cried when he told me. I was just out of my mind
Was
because,
that for your
Wow.
birthday?
well, he said all my boys were there, and he said my oldest son said Jake's going to pay for the lot because he's the most advanced in his career
Oh,
and makes
oh.
the most money. And he said Jake's going to buy you a lot, Mom, and we're all going to pitch in and help you build your dream house. And
Oh,
That's
it's not just
wonderful.
for your birthday; it's because you were the best single mom ever.
Wow,
how
that's beautiful.
awesome.
So I'm sitting
Oh,
in the
happy
restaurant, bawling
birthday.
my head off like a fool. I'm so happy.
Oh, you bought me a house. Well, maybe I could
Wow.
drive the crazy bus there and go visit you.
Oh, of course, everybody's welcome. It'll take me a while to get it built. I'm building a barn dominium, and I've designed my own specific floor plan so it will be just exactly how I want it. And it's going to
Oh,
have a huge dog area, and it's going to have a access for a dog for the dog's own indoor house on the heated floor,
wow.
off the
Oh,
patio.
wow. Sounds
Yeah,
beautiful.
I've been working on this floor plan for years, and I just have to adjust it depending on which lot Jake buys. So I'm just I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait for
Yeah,
Monday.
absolutely. We're so happy for you.
Oh,
Now,
thank you.
Pussycat, I believe both her sons are married happily. Pussycat asked if he's single.
Yeah,
Well,
I was
my
wondering,
oldest
yeah, is he single? Is he like old ladies too?
my oldest son has been married and he got divorced a couple years ago, but he's living with a wonderful lady. And my
Oh,
middle son is very married, and he's the one who gave me grandkids. So
oh,
God bless them, and they're very happy. And then my youngest son is just finishing residency, and his SO of 12 years. She's already a hospitalist at the hospital he's in residency at. So they've been together forever. And I never ask my kids if they're getting married or having children. I never ask.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
wait to be told. When you have boys, you learn that. You
yeah.
have to
Yeah,
wait to be
yeah.
told. So I don't think Sam and the youngest one and his woman, she's lovely. I just adore her. I don't think they will probably get married. They don't really want children because she has some real strong, her sister has some genetic
Oh,
diseases and she's tested and she doesn't want to. So I don't think they're going to have kids, which is really sad because he's the sweetest one of them all. But,
oh, oh.
but
Maybe
yeah,
they
they're
can
okay.
adopt.
Well, they might. I just never ask. I don't.
Yeah,
There are
yeah,
things that aren't my business. And I remember
right.
when I was moving once, Jake came and helped me, and he'd already had one child, and he was driving the moving van, and he says, "Well, Mom, I want you to know, Lisa and I are trying again." And I looked at him and I
Oh.
said, "I never want to hear that again. I don't need to know that you're having sex. I don't want to know that. Tell me when there's a baby coming, okay? That will be good
Yeah.
enough."
Yeah.
I don't want to be. So I was shocked that he was telling me he was trying when, he just told me, "I've decided I'm going to marry Lisa," who he's known through high school. And so I've known her forever, 20 years now. And, but
Wow.
telling me he was trying again, it's like, I don't want to know. I don't need to know that part.
We're all so happy for you. What a
Oh,
beautiful
thank
family,
you. I
to
am
do that
so
for you.
lucky. I am
You
so
deserve it.
lucky.
Yes.
Now you're
And
gonna have to go to
everybody,
Habitat for Humanity to get your supplies.
Well, I've got a lot of things. I've got everything picked out and priced and where I'm going to buy it all. And I'm going to kind of be my own subcontractor on the build. So I've been working on this for a lot of years. And
Wow.
now it's really going to happen because I got kind of
Wow,
waylaid. I
that's
was
awesome.
working and living a real life after my kids grew up. And then my mom needed me to move in and be her caregiver, which I gladly did. And it was the best years of my life. And my kids said, even better than raising us. I said, oh, hell yeah. But
Mhm.
I got kind of distracted with mom, and then she passed, and I had to clean out her house and sell it. And so I'm right here. And then Jake said, well, look, here you go. You're going to get
Oh,
your lot.
how cool.
And
That's
he's
awesome.
going
You
to,
deserve
we're
it.
looking for
Yeah.
one that's big enough for him to build on too, so that
Wow.
they can have a place to stay. And then he wants to make kind of a compound where there's two houses and a pool
Hmm.
and all kinds of stuff. So I said,
Oh,
well, I just am paying
fun.
for my granny house, my little granny shack. I'll pay for that. But if you want to do something more, you got to pay for that.
I want an in-ground swimming pool. I want to swim one of those swim spas, but
Mm.
Larry said no.
I like the swim spa. Now, my kids were all in swimming and water polo, and so they love a pool. But Jake is he just bought he's building a house, and I went by it last night after dinner for the first time to walk through it. It won't be
Wow.
done till the end of this month, probably. But it's a tiered lot, so the swimming pool complex will be on the lower tier, and
Wow.
he's going to build a built-in pool, and his house is just obscenely huge. I mean,
Oh, my.
I didn't feel like he was being as generous after I saw this $1.2 million house he's building. I was like, 80 grand for a lot, thanks. No, I'm
Wow.
kidding. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. It's just like, but it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Oh,
Life
yeah.
is good. And
Well,
it's
you
so
can't.
good that
Amen.
when you asked for people what their wish list was, my only wish was for Merb to get some help. Seriously, talk to some professionals, get yourself mentally healthy, and stop hurting people. That's my
Yeah.
only wish. My life is
Exactly.
just, I've got life dipped sitting here. I just wish Merb would leave people alone.
Yeah, we
That's
live
really
one
what it
life
is.
and she's ruining it. It's and the fact that we have that wish for her, of course she thinks we all hate her. I
Yeah.
I
want to see
don't
her do better, you know?
I don't hate anybody. I don't even hate my ex-husband, and he is probably the most hateable person I've ever met, but I just don't have hate in my life. And I don't
I
hate
Right.
hate
Merv. I
coyotes.
want for
She
her.
can spew all she wants about me and bring up, Pink's a scammer or whatever, whatever. But what I want for you, Merv, is to do better and to be better, you know?
Yeah. And to love your
And
children.
Well,
Her
exactly,
children,
those
her
your
boys,
son.
children deserve you to be well, And
and
if
those
mom is
boys,
not well, nobody's well.
It's
they'll
the
be
mom
gone in
being
4 years.
happy.
They're going to go to college in 4 years, and they're never coming back because coming back to that,
Yeah.
my kids want to come back because I was the cool mom. I let them have my house was filled with teenagers every weekend for sleepovers. It
Mine
was
too.
because
Yeah.
I wanted to keep track of them. So I said, yeah, everybody can come.
Yeah.
I know where you are and what you're doing. They didn't catch on to that till later, but yeah, but those boys, they're wonderful young boys, and she needs to give them the attention and support and time with her. She's going to not have all those memories I have.
No.
And that's going to hurt her later.
Right.
And when you alienate your children, like my kids say to me, I don't know how you gave us such a great childhood when you were working two jobs and fighting dad. My ex was always suing me to lower child support and stuff. And
Wow.
we had the best life. How'd you do that? And I go, yeah, well, look at my gray hair. And but they're not going to want to come back. My
No.
kids were fighting over who would pick me up last night. And her kids aren't going to be doing that. They're going to
Go
leave
back.
and just,
Go back to what? To be yelled at and put this away, do that, shut up. I'm on a live now.
yeah,
What?
that's not a life for a kid. And to have your mom screaming all the time and being so negative and angry and saying, yeah, we're getting a divorce, where they can hear that.
That
It's
was
not even funny.
horrible. But the
It's not
fact that they know
funny.
her channel, they know her channel. So even if they didn't hear it, they could watch it.
And you know,
Well,
her friends,
That had to be
her
I would be devastated if
others,
that were me.
others who know her and who know of her reputation are watching that.
oh yeah,
Just
regular people like their kids' friends' parents, their
Yeah.
teachers,
Sad.
other people, and it's not healthy. And I don't hate her. I want for her to be like I thought she was when I first came to her channel. That's who
Yeah.
she needs to be, is who she wanted us to believe her as. You worked so hard in that phony persona, and we bought it and we liked it. We don't like this. Whatever you are now, we don't like it. We go back and this time actually change enough to really be that person you want us to like. That
Yeah.
would be so great for her. And she would have great success again. Her channel would grow. She wouldn't be so unhappy. She's just a miserable person. And that breaks my
yeah.
heart. I don't want to see anybody miserable.
Yeah. She is miserable.
It's just so sad. So I just wish she would understand that we only get one go through here and none of us gets out alive. And, Mama Ames had a really good title on her live the other day.
Mm-hmm.
What will
Yep.
your legacy be?
I
And that
watched that. That
is
was
so
really
great. And we all need to stop and think, what am I leaving behind? You
what's your
know,
legacy? Yeah.
what will people say about me? And I know my sons are grateful and thrilled and laugh with me all the time, and they think I'm hilarious. When my dog locked me on the deck and I couldn't, it's a second floor deck, I couldn't jump down, and she jumped against the door and her paw hit the lock, and she was on the other side of the glass door eating my shoe and looking at me like, wow, sucks to be you. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I can't get in my house and I don't have keys to get back in. I had to call my son to bring the spare key. And he drove over. It's like 20 minutes away. And he
Oh
was
my
here, in a lickety split. He goes, I'm on my way, Mom. And her kids
God.
are going to do that for her. But he comes in and he unlocks the door and lets me back in my own house. And he says, hello, Lucy. I said, I know. Whose life? Whose life am I
Oh
living?
man.
So
Yeah,
I just
time goes
want for
by
her.
fast.
Those
Goes by
kids,
real
I
fast.
remember when my oldest started high school, and it was a minute until the last one was leaving high school. It was so quick.
And my granddaughter's in her mid-20s. I can't believe it. I'm getting old. I'm an old lady. I'm 70s. I'm 70. I was 17 when I had my son. And I feel bad because my she's wanting to have a baby. And oh my gosh. I said, no, don't have a baby yet. I don't want to be a great grandma.
Well,
Hmm.
my oldest son, he was married for a while, and she didn't want kids, so they divorced, but it was all amicable because I taught them how to do that, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you
then
have to teach them how to live.
yeah, well, that's what I did. I didn't parent my children so they'd make me happy. I was molding people so they knew how to be happy for themselves when they were grown.
Yeah.
And that's, so you remove yourself from that parenting equation. Parenting isn't about the parents. It's about the product in 20 years. And I'm thrilled with what I got, and I worked hard to get it, and I will take credit for every bit of it too.
There you go. Yep,
Because I worked
absolutely.
my ass off. And but Alex came to me when Jake started having kids. He comes to me and he says, Mom, I want you to know that Molly and I are planning on getting married, and then we're going to have kids. And I want to know if you'll take care of our child for 2 days a week. And I go, oh, of course I will. I'd be happy to help you out. And he goes, well, no, it's not about helping us out because they both have good jobs. They make money. And I
Yeah.
said, well, no. Oh, he goes, Mom, I want you to imprint on my children. I go, you
Yeah.
want me to imprint on your children? You're such a geek. That is so geeky. But it felt good. It felt good. It was a real privilege to hear that.
Absolutely.
But it was
Yeah.
hilarious. 'Cause what a geeky thing to say. Only Alex. We used to call him the brainiac. You know, but Merv isn't going to have these things with her kids unless she says to herself, I need to reflect the best of me so my kids will be proud of me and love
Mhm.
me and want to enjoy time with me. And that's what she needs to do before those young boys are gone and never come back.
Or take them to church once a week. You know, she doesn't do that.
Well,
And
I don't tell people specifics. I just think that you have
Do
to be the
something.
person you want your sons to be, you know?
Go out for dinner once a week or have a family night, play games. You know, when we had our students here, our exchange students, we had game night. And if you look on some of my videos, we had Taco Tuesday, and then we had Oriental night, spaghetti night, and the girls, you know, and we played games with them. We did something once a week, or well, not once. We did more than once, you know, several hours a week. We did stuff with them, and that was our exchange students. They were here, and it was a hot minute, and they were gone. They were here almost a year,
yeah.
and now
Well,
gone. And our
when your kids come back to you, J May, you know you did something right. You know, when they call you or they want to take you out, or they even ask one of my kids the other day asked me for advice, you know, and I spent an hour and a half just talking with him, you
yeah,
know, and he said, "Thank you, Mom." And you know, so you still instill things into your children no matter how old they get, but you get it back. It rewards you back. And you
And
find that out when they get older. Yeah,
they trust your judgment because they know you did a good job with them. And they
right.
respect you. They respect your mind. And I tell you, it was so funny. I went to Jake's house, and it's huge, but it's got a kind of a bridge across the foyer in on the
bye.
second floor.
Oh,
And my house that I raised
come
my kids
in.
had the same kind of bridge. And I learned later, when you hear the stories that you don't want to know about, my kids used to put all their mattresses on the main floor in the foyer and then go upstairs and jump off the bridge.
I gotta go.
Um,
I gotta go because my sister's here.
Okay, I'll let you
okay, thank
say
you, Zelda.
All right, bye
Thank
bye.
you for
God
coming
bless.
up.
Bye,
All
Jamie.
right,
Give me a
bye bye.
call.
I
All
will.
right, bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
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 But and so when I was walking through the house, I walked by the bridge and I looked down into the foyer and I go, "Oh, Jake, I'll be sure and teach your kids how to put mattresses down there so they can jump off." He goes,
Right.
"Don't you dare!
Am I
Don't
out now?
you dare!"
Did I get out?
Does Merv have grandchildren? Just hit leave or the X in the corner.
Oh, what a ding dong. I already turned it off.
Uh,
Oh, I see.
I
Okay.
I can get you out. You see it?
Oh, where's the leave?
I'll kick you out. Hold on.
Kick me out, yeah.
Remove. Oh, there you go. She's gone.
Well, I don't.
Um,
I think Merv
does
doesn't
Merv
have
have grandchildren?
not from her own kids. I've heard, but I'm just not sleuthy. I don't care enough to sleuth this stuff out.
Hmm.
Like when she accused me of reading her mother's obituary, I never did that. You know, I made my video off of her
Yeah.
words only. And
Well, you know, anything Merv says is true. You
well,
know, according to
I
her thoughts.
heard if anything, if that's the case, then I heard Jimmy had a daughter who has a child, and she never talks about Jimmy's daughter or his granddaughter.
I
So
never knew that till someone told me. Hmm.
I know that's not a part of her life
He
because
didn't on his Twitter page. He someone sent me a link to his Twitter page, and he recognized his two young boys. And it wasn't until it was brought up, and then he went back and he added his other child or children or grandchild. I
you
thought
know, I
that
think
was interesting.
it's so ridiculous. You know, my husband
Yeah.
left me for a woman and he married her and had a kid with her and then he divorced her. And then he came back to me and wanted me to take him back after 20 years. And I just laughed out loud. And then he remarried her. And I have to see them at every one of my grandkids' birthdays. And you're amicable, you're amiable, you're polite, you don't cause conflict for the kids. I just don't hang on to any residue of resentment, and I accept the reality that my ex-husband married someone else, and his boy
Mhm.
is a wonderful young man. And my kids would, when they were hurt when that baby was born, and I told them, you have to love that baby, he needs you, he's your
Right.
brother and he needs you. And they have had a wonderful relationship with that young man, and he's now in nursing school. So I think, if you hang on to pettiness and resentments and you block people from your life, you're really missing opportunities to have a positive effect on people and to enjoy the rewards of those positive effects. Now that young man
Exactly.
is getting married, and I met his fiance at the last grandkid's birthday party. She's an amazing young woman, and I would rather have her in my life than ignore my ex-husband and his wife and their child. you
Right.
know
Exactly. Hmm.
and Merb's not going to have that. She doesn't acknowledge that. She talks about every other thing in her life, but never brought up the fact that Jimmy has a child who has a child. I wonder, does Merb send that grandchild gifts, or
Don't
go and
know.
visit on the birthdays or anything?
They're going to grow up to be very lonely
I mean,
in
we
their
know the
older
future.
golden years. They're gonna be a lot of rust around there. You want to create memories, you want to make memories, um, because when you get older, there's a lot of times you're gonna be alone. So at least you have something to think about, good things
Well,
to think
yeah.
about.
Well, when my mom stopped being mobile and stopped driving, she was on the phone all day with probably 8 different people every single day. People were calling, she
Yes.
was calling. She had a very active social life, even in her 90s. And her friends from her water aerobics class would come by. She did that until she was 90. And they'd come by and take her to lunch. And, it kept her mind so crisp because she
Mm-hmm.
had interaction. And when you alienate people or cut them out of your life for stupid reasons like that, you didn't control how they came in it, and control is cheating. You don't have that. Nobody's going to be calling Merb when Jimmy dies before her. And this woman has shared every single thing about her life. We know her every thought. She doesn't have an unspoken thought in her head. But we've never heard about Jimmy's daughter and the baby. That seems odd to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sad. That's sad to me.
It is. And Merb's only cutting people out of her life to her own detriment. She won't. You should be collecting good people and sharing
Right.
and learning from them. Like when a friend criticizes me, which I assume the beach crew criticized her behavior in a way that was loving and kind and said, look, we've seen things that alarm us, and we want whatever they did, whatever happened. They were friends, and when a friend comes to you and says, "You probably don't realize this, but this is what it felt like," and I don't like that behavior in you, and I think if you rethink it, you won't do that again because you'll see that it was hurtful. That's how a friend talks to a friend, and I'm sure that all those women on that beach trip talked to her like that, and she shut them down, turned and burned them, and now she thrashes them every day. And that's not
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not how to keep friends, you know? When you love somebody,
Yeah.
you help to correct them when they're wrong, and they love you enough to trust that you wouldn't bring it up if you didn't love them,
Hmm.
you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. She just
It's
gets
not
rid
a
of
good
people,
thing.
or gives people a reason to leave. It's all or nothing with her. All or nothing. There's no compromise.
And
There's no
she has to
coming,
be in control
halfway.
of everything. She decides everything always. And her current panel, they stay in the dark until she flips the switch, and then boom, they're all there. And then they're very
I
careful
know
about, can I
that's
say
weird.
this? Can I say that? Should we talk about this? Okay. Merb says no. Okay, well, okay. There it's sad. It's really sad to see people communing in such an unhealthy way. You should
No,
be able
and
to
you
just
don't.
chat and share.
Right, and you don't know anything about them either, because I'm very curious about other people, and I could say I know about J May's part of her life. I know about Zelda. I know about Floor just from interacting on live streams, and yet I don't know anything about these people's lives. And not that I don't mean personal, but what they like, their interests, nothing, nothing.
Yeah, what's important to them. And you learn a lot about people when they share. You find out what they care about. And when you learn that they care about something, you say, that's a caring person. I can care about her. And that's how you build a relationship, is by revealing
Hmm.
the things, who you are, and that you care. And then it comes back to you. I'm planning a trip right now to go visit my best friend, my college roommate, and her birthday's October 11th, so we're Libra sisters. And I'm going to go visit her. Her husband passed earlier this year, and I'm going to go visit her this fall. We're trying to figure out how to get there before Thanksgiving, and who's going to take care of Miss Anna Hope. I didn't get a lot of volunteers at dinner last night for that task. Nobody wanted to take on the dog,
Oh,
but I'm working on going to visit her, and then we're gonna meet another friend of mine who lives in Nashville. We're gonna meet her up meet up with her in Memphis. We're gonna meet her halfway
that
and do
sounds
just a little
wonderful.
trip.
Yeah.
And and someday I'm coming to Boston to look up my family heritage there. So I'll look you up when I get there.
Yes, absolutely. Please do.
But these human connections are important, and you have to
Hmm.
be a willing person. My mother always said, one need only be willing. And you think about that, she said to me. You think about that, young lady. You need to be willing towards others. And when you're willing, it comes back to you tenfold. And she was right. It does.
Right. And I said that at the beginning of my live stream. We can do better, but as far as her, she's not willing. Absolutely. She is not willing
She's not
to
willing
do
to
better.
accept that she's human and flawed. I can tell you about my flaws. I
Right.
Nobody
Me
wants to hear
too.
about them, but I know them.
Yeah.
And when my friends point them out to me, I don't hate my friends for it. I go, "You're right. I'm such a bitch." That was wrong of me. And you have to accept your own humanity. You just do. None of us are perfect.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm the sweetest, most loving, most supportive person you could ever have in your life. But if you cut me, I can certainly turn around and cut a bitch with words like you wouldn't believe. I'm half my mom and half my dad.
Hmm.
And I need both parts in this world. But she's never gonna get there.
I don't know. I'm having a harder time. I don't know. I'm just getting sick of her toxicity. And like I said, that conversation, that prank call really opened my eyes to who she really is. And as much as I want to see her do better, I don't know if she can at this point. And what do you do? I just tell people don't watch her. Just
Well,
don't.
it's irrational to
It's
entertain those
attention
calls.
she's seeking. And if you're gonna, huh?
It's irrational to entertain those prank calls. I After I left her, she had my phone number, and I started getting texts from all over the country that were, obnoxious. And you just block them. You block the numbers. How hard is that? But if I get prank calls, I don't chat with them. I click and block, click
No.
and block. It's called an adult response to a childish act. And you click and block, Merb. It's very simple. I can teach you how, but she did it because she wanted to use it. And the funniest thing is when I made that video that said, no, Alex Belfield's victims were directly contacted through email, phone, every social media site they were on, and you aren't getting contacted. You are seeking out our comments on other channels. No one's calling you, no one's harassing you, no one's emailing you. And then the next week, she's all of a sudden got prank calls now because she actually said these words: I have been harassed far worse than any of Alex Belfield's victims. That's irrational.
Mm, yeah.
She has not. And so I think all those prank calls were pranks that were coming from inside the house because she wanted, she thought, oh, I'll wait a week or two after this video and then I'll start my prank calls so I can be a victim again.
And you know, Scooter, I'm not blaming anyone, but Scooter always said she's been a prankster since she was a little girl, to the point where she was punished as a child for one of her pranks that went out of hand, you know, and I don't know. I often think, you know, how far will these pranks go? I mean, I just don't trust Scooter. It's or Mur. I don't because of their jokes. Everything's a joke, but they're cruel and there's no boundaries. There's no boundaries, um, and it gives you an open mind to think, you know, because of their behaviors. And we say, you know, well, it could be them, or you know, it could be coming from inside the house because that they've shown that that's who they are. You know,
It's 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 just it's
I
so
wouldn't put it
indicative of
past
who she
them.
is. Well, and Scooter, if you watch the video where they doxed me on Scooter's channel, Merb calls her on the phone and Scooter mutes. And you can see Scooter's really concerned because Merb is telling her, I want to dox JMA. I want to dox JMA. And Scooter doesn't want that happening on her channel. She's scared. And then she gets talked into it. And so she opens the mic and lets Merb on the phone. And they both sit there and connect my Facebook name with my real name with my YouTube name. And you could see Scooter's she's a willing idiot. She's willing to do that dirty stuff. So as much as people say how much they like her and they think she's funny or whatever, I think, well, she's either really, really stupid and her loyalty is so
Hmm.
misplaced and she's not smart enough to recognize it, or she's willing to do things that hurt people. Either way, I don't want anyone like that in my life.
No,
So it could be Scooter, but BBT did a pretty
that's
good job of
right.
showing us exactly how Merb could be generating those calls while she's sitting there. I clearly saw it. BBT has done some
Right, and
really
these spoof
in-depth.
apps.
Well, I don't even know who would bother even trying to figure out where to find a spoof app or whatever. I mean, come on, life's too short. I
Well,
don't want to.
the thing is, they're very sophisticated. They're sophisticated. I mean, you can add an accent, you can add male or female. So you could add a Southern accent, a British accent, Australian accent. You know, there are apps out there that already have the dialogue set up, so you can put in what you want it to say. They're very sophisticated. So you know,
Why?
unfortunately, in this day and age with the internet, you can't do something like that and expect people to believe you because there's just too many prank apps out there.
Why would I want to spend? Why would anyone want to spend 5 minutes of their life even learning how to do it or find it and learn how to do it and then do it? I have so many great things I can be doing,
Attention, that's for
and
attention.
I don't need attention.
Right, but I'm saying some people do, and they want to play the victim all the time. It's always about her. She's always the victim.
which is
Always.
which is a very discernible dysfunction in her personality that needs attention by a professional. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. She's stuck in the anal phase of development, which means she's about like a 2-year-old, which is
Yeah.
also why she always brings up sex and why she thought I sent her that picture of me in pajamas because I was attracted to her.
I
Honey,
know.
if I wanted to attract somebody, that wouldn't be the picture I'd send.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, she's just odd. And then she alludes
Mm.
that I sent her other pictures. You know what those pictures were, Pink? One of my mother waving to her because my mother was the one who started watching her first. And the other was of my dog because she asked if I had a dog. And those are the other pictures. So they aren't, me in my fully covered velour pajamas trying to
Hmm.
seduce her. It was my mother, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But she went off the other night. She had two
Yeah.
videos
And be
in one night.
careful, like with people like her. Yeah.
Well, it's all going to end up,
Well,
she's already suffering. She's already suffering because she's not working on getting better. And she's only going to suffer more if she doesn't change. And that's just the simple fact of things. Her kids will
Yeah,
not
she's
be
the one
attached to
that's
her.
taking the poison, and she's hurting herself when she thinks
Exactly.
she's poisoning others.
And
Yeah. And
she's
if
refusing
yeah.
to accept options like get help. If my friend came to me and said, Janet, I've known you a long time, and I think you really need this, this, and this. You need to go see somebody. I would run to go see somebody if my friend told me that. I
Hmm.
would.
Me too.
It'd be alarming to me. And I would take their word for it because they love me enough to tell me. And I think that's what happened on that vacation from hell. And they're going to do it
Yeah.
again. Okay, get ready for mass exodus number 2.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
going to repeat and rinse and repeat. It's not going to. Oh, Hannah just pulled a plate out of the sink again. She pulls plates out of the sink and then licks them, puts them on the floor and licks them.
She's
She's,
cleaning them up.
well, yeah, I decided I have to shorten her legs or raise the counters. That's it. Those are the options. Because when she's on her hind legs, she is eye to eye with me now. And she can get into everything. But God, I love her so much. I'm trying to figure out if I can fly her with me to visit. But I would never put a dog on a plane unless it was in the cabin with me.
Yeah. Hi, Gathering Place. Nice to see you.
Well, I don't think anybody's scared of Merb, and I think we should all keep making videos. You should keep doing
No,
your.
I've never been scared of her.
She
Never.
doesn't scare
Never.
me.
And that's what she tries to intimidate. Don't ever be scared of her. Ever.
Oh no, no. I've seen people like her before, and they're just so small and crippled that I just, you can't feel anything but pity. It's not hate,
Absolutely.
and we are not haters. We really want her to get better because she's ruining things for a lot of people, and she hurts people. Look how hurt BBT was. What
I
Merv did
know.
the other night was it was nauseating.
But that
I
was her
actually
goal.
had,
That was her goal. She probably logged off smiling. And she did crack a smile at one point. She did crack a smile after she did that to BBT. And you don't see her smile often.
and that's her legacy that she loves to hurt
Hmm.
people. Great legacy there, Merv. I'm sure your children are thrilled. We have to walk through this world representing not just ourselves, but the people that love us, like our children, our parents, and even though mine are gone, I still live according to what they would expect because they were smart and good.
Exactly.
And I want them to be happy if they can see me. I want them to be proud of me still. It's my mom told
Hmm.
me once that when after I moved in with her, and I got divorced in the mid 90s. And it was a really difficult, protracted, nightmarish thing because he's a jerk. And my mom told me after I moved in with her, we're sitting in her living room, she's 90, and she says, I remember telling your dad that I was so worried about you when you were getting divorced because it was just so awful and it was so hard on you. And I was so worried. And you know what your dad said to me? He said, I never worry about her because she's smart and she's good and she will never be vanquished by him or anything. Don't you worry about her. She's the one I never worry about. And I looked at my mother because now, it's like 30 years past the divorce. I go, I could have used those words, Mom, during that time. You should have told me then that
Right.
my dad,
Hmm.
knowing that my dad believed in me, would have been a great thing. So don't keep those secrets from your friends and family. If you get a good tidbit like that, share it with the person so you never know when it could hold them up in a hard time. Knowing that they are trusted and that you have confidence in them, that boosts them when they need it. So share those comments. Don't wait 30 years. I think that's the only mistake my mother ever made in her whole life.
Exactly.
But we laughed about it. And I don't think when you don't have any in life, real life friends, she never talks about going to lunch with her, the girls she grew up with, or her high school friends or her college friends. I have people from all those walks of my life, all those parts
Yeah, me
that we
too.
still
Me too.
communicate. And
Absolutely.
she never has those. So she's not getting any new information from anybody. She's stuck in her own head, living out in the middle of nowhere with little Jimmy who's running dancing as fast as he can to keep her on an even keel and not flying off the handle. And she's not getting any new information, but YouTube gave her an option to get a lot of new information, but she's not letting it in. She's just not hearing it. She's choosing to call us haters, and she's choosing to think we want her channel down. I don't want her channel down. I want her to be better. Be
Right.
better.
And the fact that she calls everybody out like this, is your channel getting better, Merb? No, no, it's not.
No, you're
So in
making
her
hate
mind,
comments.
she's fixing everything, right? She's spilling out her truth as she sees it. But yet your channel's not getting better. So what is it? Are we ruining it or you ruining it? She's ruining it. She's ruining it. She's not.
Yeah,
If it's a
no.
business, run it like a business. That's no business. That's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show.
And YouTube for me was just, there's videos I watch. There's this guy named Outdoors with Eric who goes around and fixes people's yards who can't do it themselves. It's a great uplifting channel. It's supposed to be a fun, entertaining thing that you spend maybe an hour a day or an hour every
Right.
couple of days doing. And I noticed when I was in her channel as a sub, I noticed this woman drive with me to the store. I got to tell you, folks, I'm a real nice person, but I don't really think you're going to be excited about going to the store with me. And I really don't need to be manually operating cameras so I can bring you along. That seemed really weird to me. She can't go anywhere without clicking into YouTube. Go in the hospital, YouTube. Pick up Jimmy, YouTube. Her every normal thing that a person does on their own independently and quietly, she has to do on YouTube. And I started thinking that's the weirdest thing. I know I'm a people person, but I never think, oh, something has happened to me, I'm sure I need to let other people know about it. I've never felt that way, but she's
Yeah.
kind of gotten worse and worse and worse since then. And then that's why I kind of dipped out. Was like, no, this is not a healthy place. This isn't entertainment. This is a sick person.
And who can stay up till 2 in the morning? At least on the East Coast over here. Jeez.
When I
Or
moved in with
three or four.
my mom would stay up till 2 in the morning and she'd watch old movies and stuff because 90-year-olds don't need less sleep. But I was awake every minute she was awake because I was her caregiver. So um, I had to learn how to stay up at night, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, But you do. I don't
But
do it now.
why? Why does she choose? Why does she choose that time? You know what I
Because she
mean?
has incessant needs. Her needs are insolvable. They're endless. She needs that contact. This is her only human contact aside from her husband and kids, who she's basically alienated. They have their position in her life, and they better not step out of it. I'm live, Jimmy. I'm live, Ethan. It's a really crippling kind of household. It's not something that I would want for my children.
Hmm.
She needs it. She doesn't have she doesn't have people skills, she doesn't have life skills, she doesn't have coping skills. She didn't really work in I worked for two jobs for 40 years, and she doesn't, and that teaches you how to get along with people, and it teaches you when to shut up. It does. When you're in a professional world, you have to be smart and on your toes. And she didn't have any of that experience. And she didn't go to a regular college and join a sorority or something or live in a dorm. She didn't have that experience of learning how to adjust to people and how to adjust herself to be amenable for other people to be around. She doesn't have any real normal people experience. And so she's defunct in that. She's needful in that area. And she has found YouTube as the only way she can fill it. And it has
Right. And
become
rabbit
more
rabbit
important.
dog. Yeah, Rabbit Dog made a good point. He generally thinks for her, if it isn't happening on YouTube, it isn't real. It's the only way to explain the absolute irrationality of the phone incident. Lucy conversing with discussing prank calls, etc.
That's true. That's so true. Hi, Rabbit. I was out to dinner with my kids. I'm sorry I missed your video, but I saved it so I can watch it tonight.
Yeah, YouTube has become her reality. Absolutely.
Yeah, but then you look at all of us. I mean, she had women in that mass exodus group that had probably helped or enabled Merb do some of her dirty deeds. But as soon as they came out and got out of there, we all instantly forgave them and embraced them because that's what you do. They said, we couldn't take it. It turned bad. We're sorry. And we said, we forgive you. We support you. And we would do that for Merb too. If she would come out and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Help me be better. We would be there for her because that's what decent people do. But she will never, her ego is so massive. She would never admit that she was wrong or that she needs people in a real healthy way.
Do you really think everybody would be there for her at this
Well,
point?
I'm not saying it would be easy.
Yeah.
For some of us, it would be very difficult. It would be a heart to heart conversation, on the phone, just her and I, to get to where the slate is clean. And I would want to commit to being there for her if she ever needed me. It's kind of like when my siblings all ripped off my mother, and then my mother said, I want you to forgive them in your heart, but don't ever be in their presence again because they're evil. They're truly maniacally greedy. And my brother beat me up and put me in the hospital, and I ended up having my shoulder replaced. And so my mother said, in your heart, you have to forgive them. So I did, but they don't know it. I'll never see them again, and I won't miss them. But, some people can choose to do that with her. If she ever got to the point where she really wants to get better, I'm sure some of the people would be there for her, you know? And you can't hurt people for 5 years and turn around and expect it to be easy. Like when she, on that video, the next day after she had her phone meltdown, I want to go to the hospital. And then she gets up and she says to them, oh, you love me. I'm so, you still love me, don't you? No, it takes more than that to get the slate clean. You can't just say, you still love me. No, I don't love the way you were last night. And I'm not going to love it if you do it again. So get rid of it. That's what your friends would tell you. And then they would be there for you if you did get rid of it. And there will be people there for her, because people generally are forgiving. People want peaceful lives. They don't want to look around and say, oh, over this shoulder, I have all these bad experiences with these people. I better watch my back. Nobody wants that in their life. So, of course, people would forgive and make it right. And they could choose to be in her life again in a better way, or they could choose to just forgive her and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's just cogent, rational ways to manage all these things, and she's not choosing any of them.
Please watch 15 Minutes of Shame, an HBO Max documentary about the public humiliation, shame, and its devastation to human beings. Monica Lewinsky talks about her experience.
I watched that. It is really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I think it's really easy for her in that case, though, you know, she Bill Clinton wasn't her first married man, and she actually moved to my town to chase another married man before she went to Washington to chase Bill. And so it's kind of like you can't just play the innocent dupe, because there definitely was a power advantage to Clinton there in that affair, and it wasn't right. It's always going to be wrong. Cheating is always wrong. But she was a very willing participant. In fact, she said to her friend she was going to Washington, D.C. to get her knee pads. Like, I'm going to go blow a bunch of some famous guy. She always wanted affairs. So I watched that with a grain of salt. It was very powerful and very good, and I do have compassion for her. But again, my mom always said, you got to own your actions. You know,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was your role in that? What part did you play? And yeah, I hope you're smarter now because it's, 40 years ago. So I hope you're
So I take
smarter
it
now.
I take it she never owned up to her actions.
Well, I get the general feeling, this is just my opinion, may not mean crap, because I was very, very, very politically aware at that time and very involved. And I was very aware that that whole incident was just a tool to use by the politicians to divide us. And she was used by more than Bill Clinton. She was used by the Republicans egregiously. But she was
Mm.
a very willing dupe. She went in that with her eyes open and she knew she was fooling around with a married guy.
Oh yeah,
And then,
absolutely.
so I can't, it's like you own your part of it. And she never really said, I looked at myself and he wasn't my first married man. And I
Mhm.
don't know what was wrong with me that I kept chasing married men. She leaned a little heavier on being the no power person in the power struggle, you know?
Right, right.
And I don't buy into that, 100%. But it is a really good show. It's well done. And it gave me insights into her that I didn't have before. And it made me glad I'm not her.
Mm.
But it is good.
Louise, yeah, Louise. I don't know. I don't follow Merb as much as other people. So after Jimmy had his surgery, I don't know what she did to him. Uh, I have no idea. Maybe someone else can. I
Well,
know she's not a very good driver.
I just know because I did have shoulder surgery. I had the most extreme shoulder surgery you can have, where they redid all my ligaments and all my tendons, and I had screws galore put in. And he had a more very mild shoulder surgery. But either way, you're not supposed to drive for 6 weeks. And within a week, he was driving again because she needed him to go get the kids and do this and do that. And I thought, my gosh,
Mm.
when I had my shoulder surgery, I couldn't shower for 2 weeks. I was in bed for 2 weeks. It was agony. It was abject agony. And if I didn't have a caregiver, I probably wouldn't have made it. And she just put him right back to work as soon as he was home. That's the only thing I thought was kind of alarming is when somebody you love has extreme surgery, you need to stop everything else and tend to that. And she never
Right.
tended to him. She never tended to him.
She went to the JM says she went to the wrong hospital to pick him up, was driving around like a maniac, screaming at him all the way home with the kids in the back seat.
Well, yeah, she was screaming for Jimmy to call her and tell her how to get there when he's post-op. You can't really think very well when you're coming out of
No,
anesthesia.
you still have anesthesia in you. Yeah. He probably doesn't even remember the ride home. Thank God.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's
Yeah.
another crazy. You look at that and you think, how many people in the chat have behaved like her when their SO had a surgery? And how many forget what hospital you dropped them off at? I mean, every time a loved one of mine had surgery, I sat vigil at the hospital. I never left. I dropped them off and sat there until they came out. And when it was time to go home, I went and picked them up and I knew right where to go. It's just so
Right.
bizarre to me that she's lived there most of her adult life. How does she not know where to go? Because she just dropped him off there.
Uh, yeah, sleeping cats and who would stream it live? Yeah, she does tend to she's very addicted to live streaming. Very
Well,
addicted.
when you do things that are really embarrassing for yourself, the last thing most people think is, I think I'll get the camera out and show everybody what an idiot I am. I didn't put it on
Yeah.
camera that it was locked on my porch by my dog. It didn't occur to me that, oh, I should show this to people. I'm an idiot, you know? It's just
Right,
doesn't make
right.
sense. She doesn't have she's not capable of being embarrassed. You know, she's never embarrassed for herself. And she should be.
I'm still taken back, Jamie, that you say that if she reached out for help, that you or others would help her. I mean, I'm just questioning what makes people think that she could really change. I mean,
Well, because my mom taught me that everybody deserves help if they ask for it, and you can't judge them. You just have to get them on the right road and support them to get there and hope for the best.
at
And
what expense, though? At the expense of getting hurt again? I mean, that's my question,
well,
you know?
if I extended myself to her and helped her get into therapy, and she's working on herself and she's calling me for, to chat about it, and I think she's actively working on it, and then I turn on YouTube and see her turning into the old Carolyn again, I'd drop her flat. Everybody gets a
Yeah.
chance. You get to give somebody a chance, because sometimes only one chance is all it takes to get them in the right place. But once they show you that they're going to continually, despite all the evidence that they're wrong, choose to do wrong, then it's fully acceptable to drop out of their life. You showed me who you are. I learned. I cared about you. I tried. You don't want to get better. I can't afford you in my life. I'm very expedient about things, but I do believe my mother was the most giving, loving person in the world. And she was selfless. And I called her to her face, Jesus with a uterus, and she loved it, because that's how really purely good she was. And I put every situation I'm in, I think, what would my mom tell me to do? Because she was always, I looked up to her and I thought, I'll never be as good a person as she is. And I loved her
Yeah.
and idolized her. Even as a child, I just thought she glowed goodness. And I thought, how come I'm not like that? I hope someday I can be more like that. And so I still apply what she would choose to situations in my life. And every time I do that, I get good results. I get better than if I tend toward my, bitchy, resentful self, if I handle it the way I want to because I'm impatient or something. My mom's ways always work better. So I try to think of those.
Yeah, it's that, question, what would Jesus do, right? What would
Exactly. And she
Jesus
was
do?
Jesus with the uterus. I told her I'd put it on a sweatshirt
Yes.
for her. And she laughed and she said, "Don't you dare. I can't wear it to the water aerobics class." So I made her a sweatshirt that says candidate for sainthood, because she was a very devout religious person,
Oh,
but you never knew it.
yeah.
She never talked about it. Her Bible reading was her own time. She was never, she didn't proselytize. She was wonderful. But she was such a devoutly pure woman who always looked up. And so she wasn't a Catholic, though. But I did make her a sweatshirt that said candidate for sainthood. And when I was
Oh,
cleaning out her
cute.
closet, I found that sweatshirt and I still have it. I kept that. I kept that.
Mm.
I don't wear it because I'm not a candidate for sainthood, but I do have it.
Remember, if you're watching, because we know you are, take a link. Take a link. I haven't seen Sandy Ruzek in her chats recently, and frankly, I'm wary of the adorization of the Ruzeks by MRB. I don't watch her chats, so I don't know if I believe you if Sandy isn't in there as often or at all anymore. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't shock me.
Well, it wouldn't shock me either. I just kind of look at it like, again, my mom was very, very devout. And if Sandy portrays herself to be that, why doesn't she recognize how MRB is not really practicing what she professes to believe. And that's, you know, people who are really devout tend to discount or run away from people who use religion as a tool.
Yeah, that I don't like. I don't like it. She weaponizes, Christianity or Catholicism, whatever she calls it. Um, and it's horrible. It's horrible. It's like, what are you doing? Like, she's got to ask herself, what would Jesus do? And yet she calls herself a Catholic, and I know that doesn't represent the Catholic religion. Not at all. Not at
Well,
all.
and then she twists everything because she is the one who took a video of her kids in the restaurant and her son said, I don't know how to pray. She put that video up and that's what
Oh,
her son said. And nobody blasted him for it, or nobody blasted. I don't recall. I wasn't really looking, but that became, when Merb tells this story, other people shamed her sons by saying he didn't believe in God. Now, those are two completely different scenarios.
right,
And
right.
that's what she does to everybody in every regard. Like I have said before, she threatened my son's careers because she encouraged people to call their. Don't you think her son's hospital should know that their mother's putting out bad COVID information?
And I believe it. I believe wholeheartedly she made that threat because she's like, well, prove it,
Well,
Jamie. But,
yeah, and it is a
she's
threat.
threatened to find out my legal name. She's threatened BBT. She's threatened everybody. So
Well,
for
it's a
her to
threat.
threaten your son's job, I wouldn't put it past her. And I know
Well,
that she meant it.
I have the clip. I record it. It's so
Yeah,
if she edits it, I got it. But here's how it became. Well, now she's saying, I never said I contacted your kids' jobs.
right.
Well, and I never said that you contacted him either, Merb, and you can't change the word. Like, I'm working with the resort, and then I never said I was working for the resort.
Right.
You know, come
Exactly.
on. Come on. We're not stupid.
It's semantics. Yeah.
I went through college. I'm smart. I know bullshit when I see it. And you can't rewrite things that you yourself said that are recorded. And it's stupid. It makes you look even dumber. I would
Right.
never
Especially
send
when
them out.
Randy showed we all heard the recording. I'm
Yeah,
promoting the water park. Right
yeah.
there, her words. And then she says, I never said that. Well, what
I
does she
never.
expect us to believe? We heard
Well,
it.
because everything. Well, this is why, and I know I'm beating this drum to death. I I dealt with a sociopath in real life for a long time, a very bona fide diagnosed sociopath. And sociopaths do not retain anything. They are all about in the moment manipulating people's thoughts, and they only look at other people as a tool. You don't have any structure, stature, esteem. You don't really exist for any other purpose but to listen and believe them and be their dupe. And what we are seeing, like the other night when she did 2 videos lashing out at everyone, that is what you call a sociopath with their back against the wall. She's being
Hmm.
found out and she hates it, and she couldn't help but overreact, not once, but in 2 videos the same night. And so I truly believe, and my bestie, who I'm going to go visit, she is a clinical psychologist, and I sent her some mer video links and said, tell me what you think of this person. She wrote back, sociopath, scored high on the checklist for sociopathy. I was like, oh my God. And now she's hooked. So she watches her too, and then writes to me and tells me, the clinical psychologist's point of view on her. So I think we need to have low expectations for any improvement in MERB, because sociopaths never change. They can't. They are
Right.
missing a part of their amygdala
Hmm.
that makes them human and humane. And her kids, her husband, her dogs, they're all just props in her life to look normal. There's a real good book, and you can get it free online, called The Mask of Sanity. And it's about sociopathy. And it's really an interesting read. and you know that everybody can have certain levels, you know, small percentage of this trait or that trait. But when you have majority percentages of a lot of those traits, that's when you have dipped into the sociopath um, arena. And I firmly believe that's what a professional would be dealing with if she went to one.
So if anybody, Diane's channel, you'd have to go look maybe 2, 3 months back when she had G Tudor up on her stream, and he's a self-proclaimed narcissist. It was fascinating. She's had him up before, but this particular live stream I enjoyed because he took a lot of questions from people in chat about love and, why don't you, are you capable of loving? Or if you saw someone fall down and they were bleeding, an elderly woman, falling in the street, you would run over to help her. Yes. And he said, no, I wouldn't. And they asked him, like, well, wouldn't you feel anything? He said, no, it's just not there.
No,
And
it's just
that
an event
it
that it
was
didn't happen to
chilling.
him.
It was chilling.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
happen to him, so it doesn't matter. And
Right.
they do not have an emotional response, and it's in the frontal lobe and in the amygdala. And I'm a geeky person too, and I was going to go to med school when my husband got done, but he left instead, so I had to raise the kids. But I've always been fascinated by. I wish they would take everybody who's ever been diagnosed a sociopath and dissect their brain, because we need to find out what part is missing, because it seems to be indicative that there is a specific part of the brain that they do not have.
Right. Because I kept thinking, well, they can go to therapy and, you know, be treated in a way where they can recognize at least when to help somebody. But when he ever said it doesn't exist,
Yeah, they have no instinctive
it
emotional
was, I
response
got
to
a
other people.
chill.
Yeah, they have
I
no
said, there's no
instinctive.
hope. There's no hope. How do they live like that? Like,
Oh,
and I think they asked,
they're very successful
yeah,
people. Yeah,
a lot of narcissists are very like CEOs of companies, and they are very of Google, the CEO of Google. These are all narcissists. I mean, they can become very successful, but it saddens me to think that no one has ever experienced love, you know.
no,
But it
just
was
about
it was
what they can.
profound. It was powerful that he said it doesn't exist. And I'm like, why would God make someone like that? Um, it was eye opening, very eye opening. So if you can find it on Diane's channel a few months
I
back,
watched that. I went to that already.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
alarming because it was like talking to my old boyfriend, and I went into counseling with him, and I really did try to help him, but once he got up one day and got upset because of what the counselor was saying, and I just sat there, and she said, "Are you going to stay?" I said, "Well, I'm going to stay and talk to you." She goes, "I mean, with him, you got to get away from him. You know, he's dangerous. He would kill you in a minute if it served his
mm,
instant need." They only think about their needs in the moment. Nothing, they don't have memories that inspire them to do things, to repeat things. You know, they don't, like when you have a good feeling when you're kind to somebody and
hmm
you get a good response, you harbor that response in your memory, and then you turn around and say, I'm more willing to do that again because I have a good feedback from it. They don't
right,
process that way. Everything is instantaneous and it only counts in the moment, and you aren't supposed to remember anything they've done, and they will deny everything they've done because you don't have a voice. And if he doesn't remember that he did this and this, it didn't happen to you either. He doesn't care about it, you can't care either. And I did was in a relationship for 15 years with a man like that, and you would not
mm,
believe how much smarter I am now.
yeah,
It was
absolutely.
it was horrendous. When you think, and
Uh,
he owned an accounting firm. He had many people, employees, and he was rich, and everybody respected him. His brother was the campaign manager for a state senator here. They were a very prestigious family. And this guy, and when he got outed for what he'd been doing, um, it was the fallout was horrendous. But and he came to my house once after I'd blocked him from my life. And he showed up about 3 months later, and I didn't unlock the screen door, and I was living in a different place, and he found me. And he said, well, show me your house. And I go, no, I don't think so. And he's just on the porch. And he says, well, where's your bedroom? And I said, it's in the basement. And he said, oh, can I see it? And at that moment in my mind, I said, if you open this door and let him in and go in that basement, he will kill you.
Yeah.
Because I still have so much dirt on him that if he got enough dirt revealed from the things he did in front of other people that they witnessed and the things he admitted, and I had a whole vault full of stuff that I learned that I was holding on to, and he saw me as a threat. And I'm sure he would have killed me if I'd opened that door. So no, I didn't open the door.
All my sleeping cats asked, is it true that Merb didn't behave with sad emotion when the dog was killed? She didn't soothe her son. She screamed. I look at it this way, all my sleeping cats. We talked about, H3 tutor and just not having that component or whatever in his brain, I am questioning if that's the same thing going on with her, because it was just, yeah, there was no emotion. It was just, I'm going to show you and look at my dead dog. And there was no comfort. There was no crying. And it was like, to me, unbelievable. And all I can think of is that she just doesn't have the capacity to love or to be sympathetic or empathetic toward
No,
others.
no, those synapses aren't firing in her brain at all. And she's taken that part of the video down, and I watched it in real life, in real time. And
Yeah.
I was just horrified. And I had bad nights after watching her march up and seeing that dog laying on the porch next to her son's leg was in the picture. And she's ranting about they assassinated my dog. YouTubers did this. And her kid's leg is right there. And she's screaming into the camera about and showing us this dead dog. Excuse me, your child was attached to that animal. Could you put the camera down and comfort him?
Mm.
I mean, no, sociopaths, it's a missing chip in the brain. They don't have it. And that's exactly what you see is that her response, first of all, when my dogs die, I drove home from putting one of my dogs down. I don't remember the drive home. And I was still sitting in the garage when my kids came home from school 4 hours later. I was like in a fog of grief, and sadness and crying. And she was vengeful and angry. That's
Yes,
not a
very much.
typical response to death. Usually death is, and that's why I say that I think she's a sociopath, because when my sociopath boyfriend's dad died, he called me up. He said, oh, I just got the word that dad passed. And I said, do you want me to come over? He goes, no, I'm fine. And I was like, huh? Huh? You're fine? I can come over. And no, I don't need anything. And then he goes, I got to run. And then he hung up, and then he went and did all the dirty things he did behind my back. And it was just, they don't respond the way normal human people do. She's missing a chip.
I was, who was it that just asked? Julie. When that happened, she passed Jimmy and she stopped for a brief second or two. And I was positive that Jimmy would grab her by the arm and calm her and just say, shut the camera off.
Yeah, you
I mean,
thought.
I'm saying that like he's gonna save he's gonna save this from getting worse. No, nothing. He
No,
said
and he
something to
tried.
her about the ASP, whatever it is, and off she went. And I'm like, and it's like watching a train wreck because I didn't want to see the dead dog. And I kept saying, she's not going to do it. This
Yeah,
is just
me
a
too.
threat. She's not going to do it. And she did it. And I just sat there and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
It never occurred to me to photograph my dead dog. I've had 11 dogs in my life, and they're all gone now except this one that I got now. Thank God I have her. I never took a photograph of my dead dog. That never entered my mind. But Jimmy did
Same
try to
here.
stop her, and he did say he was trying to warn her that people are going to call the SPCA because the way you're acting right now over this dog and accusing people of killing it. And, he tried to stop her, but, he's so inert. He's just so impotent in every way, not just that way. I
Yeah.
don't know about that, but
Yeah.
emotionally, he can do nothing to rein his wife in. And she doesn't care that she embarrasses the hell out of him. I mean, that's an advertisement. I don't know how she ever found two men to marry her. I mean, good God, I wouldn't treat a man like that.
Has anyone here ever actually seen her cry, like tears?
I'm trying to remember.
But yeah, if you look into narcissism, psychopathy, it's hard to wrap your brain, no pun intended, around it. But to try to imagine somebody missing a piece, that chip, like Jamie describes it, it's unfathomable. It to me, it's like, but you just learn about it, and it's fascinating to me that that brains like this exist.
Well, and don't mothers usually, like, I remember the one dog that my kids had, my oldest son was 12 when she passed. So they'd had her for 11 years, almost his whole life. And when she got cancer, and I took her to the vet after I dropped him at school, and he said, "You've got to put her down. She has cancer, and she's going to die, and she's suffering." And I said, and my kids were, no, they were with their dad for the weekend. And I was walking her on a Sunday, and I had to take her to the hospital, the pet hospital here that's 24 hours. And they said, "Well, you should let us put her down now." And I said, "I have to. My kids have to be able to say goodbye to her." And they're with their dad now. So they come home at 6. Can you give her? So they drew off a bunch of fluid, and they gave her LASIK, and they gave her all this stuff and pain pills. And I took her home for that one night. And when they got home from their dads, I said, "We're all going to sleep outside with her," because she was, going to be sick and things. And so we're all going to sleep outside, and it's time for her to go to heaven. And, you want your kids to be able to process it in a healthy way, and learn that loss is hard, but it's bearable. And this kid's sitting there next to a dead body, and his mom's yelling at people on YouTube instead of hugging him. So I
Mm.
don't relate to her mothering techniques at all. I don't I don't comprehend her mothering at all. It disturbed me on so many levels. I couldn't even sleep that night. It was just awful. And
It was.
I still feel gross about it. It's just gross. And I think JM said that Jimmy hit the dog, and that's why there was no mention of it. See, something happened in Merb's life, and she couldn't admit to people that their stupid husband, ran over their dog in their own driveway because they let it
Mhm.
run free. And so she had to
Mhm.
blame somebody else, and she had to get mileage out of it, and hopefully money, hollers for dollars. She's going to cry and yell for money. And she could turn it into, "I'm a victim, pay me, pay me." And that's what she did. And that to me is what a sociopath would do. I mean, I would be really upset if my husband ran over my dog, but I wouldn't be on YouTube about it at all, at all, ever. And you figure the dog's already gone. Your husband feels terrible. You've got to figure out a way to manage the situation so everybody's okay after. Not her.
What was the point of her even doing that? Like, what precipitated
Money.
it? She just came
Money.
online and it was like, "You killed my dog," YouTubers. Like, that was her original title. And
Yeah,
I'm
and,
like,
and
huh?
her motivation was solely, "I'm the victim, see?" And then she got on by the lake that night and said, "I just don't know why so many bad things can happen to one person." Oh, welcome to life, Merb. There are a billion people
That's
that have it worse
life.
than you.
Yep. Amen.
Yeah,
Hmm.
go live in a drought area of Africa where little kids have kwashiorkor and no water. Give me a break. I mean, oh, she's so put upon by life. Maybe your behavior is engendering these negative experiences. And if you tried to be decent and helpful and loving and purposeful in the
Mm-hmm.
right arenas, you wouldn't have bad experiences.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for this channel, Pink. I love what you are doing with this community to have a platform to express their feelings. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. No, thank you. Thank you. I love everybody here, your input, and yes, the chance to be able to speak, and I don't think we're cruel. I think we're just expressing our opinions, what we see, what we feel, and for those who have been hurt, they have a right to speak. And everyone, who has spoken against Merb, you know, it I don't does hasn't been out of control where it's vicious and bullying. These are people's experiences, and if anything, I give them a lot of credit because I'm sure they could have said a lot of things and they didn't. And they were respectful. And
Because they're good
Merv
people.
doesn't like anybody. She's so upset that, they even came to my channel, or that I gave so and so a wrench. Like, and and what? I offered a safe place, and these people came to me. So, she just I don't know. She's mad at me for that.
Well, but
But
your channel also serves as a warning. People can watch you, and it's a safe place to learn what's really going on and how to avoid becoming a victim of her. And that's really
right.
important too. So it's not only a place where we can commiserate, it helps people open their eyes and say, yeah, I don't want to play that game. I won't go over there. But MERB is a measurer, and that's a word I have for people who always measure what they have against what other people have. And when she measures stupid things like how many people are in chat, by the way, she only had 6 people in chat the next day in her little live. So she shouldn't be counting that. And who gets who a ranch and how much money someone's making. She's measuring everything that she thinks she's entitled to, and she's going to hate anyone who has something she wants. Like she said in that video at the beach about the magnets. I can't stand it when somebody gets something and I don't. She said that, and that was true about her.
Hmm.
She's a measurer, and those are the most dangerous kind of people because they're always looking to advantage themselves at your expense.
I said after my smear campaign, uh, with being there, I would never allow or try to prevent anyone from going through something as I had to go through and my family. Um, but apparently back then, being threatened to be killed by a hitman, Merb, was okay. I mean, there was no reaction from anyone. I mean, people were just, I don't know if they were desensitized or didn't take things seriously. And that wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. And that's when I reached out to the law, and she was in the process of being prosecuted, um, before she died. And she didn't die of her illness. And I will tell you all that. She did not die because of her illness. And I just lost my thought. I just don't want anyone. And if I can help one person recognize the red flags or learn more about certain disorders that people may have traits, or you see something you don't understand, that's all I can offer. I can't tell you what to do or where to go or who to hang out with, but protect yourself, and be safe on the internet because it is very, very dangerous. I've been there. My family's been there. We've all been affected by this one person that, you know, um, and do I regret? I mean, I look back and if I said, if I only saw the signs, but I didn't. I didn't see any signs. And at that time. But now I do. Now I do. So if I can help one person, you know, or even say, watch out for this or that, or don't give your number out, or don't delete your iPhone. Now you can delete your text. So if anyone ever texted somebody and you don't, or sent a picture and you don't want them to have it, you can go and delete them. So they won't have it. So that's a positive thing. And don't be so trusting of people. I always say, give yourself 6 months when you get to know a person online, because that's usually the time when you really start to see who they are and if they're still true to who they are when you first met them. Um, you know, just don't jump into relationships online with friendships because you just don't know who's behind that computer and what their intentions are. Um, because it can get out of hand very quickly and it can be very dangerous. So, when MRB uses, anyone uses that smear campaign, it doesn't affect me. What affect me was the real life consequences of getting involved with somebody who did that to me, and learning from it. And again, learning to know what the signs are ahead of time to avoid that. And I was duped. I was completely duped. And, you know, I don't know. I just hope my channel, can help some people.
It does. It really does, Pink. You're so relatable, and you're so kind.
I can't hear her. J May. I can't hear J May. Can anyone hear her? I can't hear anything. Hello? Oh, shoot. She fell down. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I figured we couldn't hear her. And usually they fall off when that happens. Um, and people online will find anything, anything. So, you know, even almost 2.5 years later, Natasha Cooper brought up that smear campaign. She wasn't even around for that. You know, Mandolin, who I was subscribed to and have donated to her, used it. They will try to find anything to use as a weapon. Um, I have learned so much by coming on YouTube from being a creator. And unfortunately, I learned not to trust very well. And so if I can help one person and say, hey, if you're new to YouTube, especially, these are the do's and don'ts. You've got to protect yourself. They will use anything. Don't discuss your medical if you don't have to, your personal life, your family, your children. Don't even let people know what your name is, your real name. Don't don't email, with any identifying information, um, because eventually, they threaten real life, and some people will take it real life. It's such a shame because, well, some of her ramblers had real friendships, and that's probably the only contact they have in real world. And she's manipulated that to such a degree. Mm. Oh, you're welcome, Jamie. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you. Right, Lily. And I don't have a problem disconnecting from people, and it's not a default of mine. I didn't go through any childhood trauma that would have, just make me, detached from people. If I see somebody in real life, like Merb, um, or people like when Natasha Cooper, smeared me, or Mandolin, and I don't have a problem with just walking away from people like that because I see that for who they are. Um, and I don't choose, the blessings in my life, as I said earlier, are my family and the friends that I surround myself with. And the same goes for the internet. I mean, we don't truly know anybody, but the same goes. I want to surround myself with positivity, with those blessings, not with the almighty dollar. Um, I'm not in this to earn an income, thank God. So you just got to be careful. And for those of you who have children, it seems like kids are more receptive and know more about the internet and being safe than a lot of these adults we see online. Um, but definitely, you've got to keep your children safe and don't put them online. Period. Period. Don't put them online. Hey, Carolyn's deleted comments. Did you ever date a married man, Jamie? I dated a guy once and found out he was married. I dumped him. And it was like, oh, we're getting a divorce. And I'm like, nope, bye bye. Her name does not appear anyway in relationships to ownership of the other house. It's my belief she only owns her house, which was gifted to her from her mother's estate. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. To me, it's a house. Yes, having a house is fine, but those aren't the important things to me in life, what my name is attached to or not. To be honest with you, when I went through my divorce, and I don't talk hardly anything about my divorce, I don't think I ever have. Um, we owned a home in a prestigious town. I had two children, my boys, um, and we I we went to court, and I simply said, all I want is child support, and that was it. And he asked me, do I want to change my name back to my maiden name? And that was it. And the judge said, what about, the house? And my name was on the deed. And I said, I don't want it. I want out. I want to be free. So I don't tend to attach myself to materialistic things because a lot of times it just brings trouble. Um, you know, and I never got child support. And I fought it once. In fact, the day I went to court, because he was in arrears of like several years, um, Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston were there. I'll never forget it. And I'm like, wow, Um, but I went in to tell the judge, and ironically, he sent the judge a letter begging for mercy because he said he got late notice, he can't show up. And I didn't know where he was working at the time. And the judge said, when you figure out where he works, you can come back. And I said to myself, I don't want to go through this again, just sitting in court all day for this aggravation. So I never pursued it. Hey, Black Eagle. The lake house is owned by a trust. Merb is only the name on the deed of her house, not Jimmy. Rabbit dog, very informative, good reading. Pink, you can always borrow one of my lawyers. I've got one downstairs, but thank you. My mother did the same thing, never received child support. Yeah, to me, and I remember my friends being like, "Are you crazy?" Like, and I'm like, "No, no," because I know he wasn't willing. So why would I just didn't want the aggravation. I didn't want it. Didn't complain about it. Thankful for my career. And if things got tight, I would work a second job without complaint. And I didn't know. I mean, my kids were 3 months old and 2.5 when he just up and left out of nowhere. And so it wasn't like I was raising children and knew what it was like to have a husband there, year after year with the kids. That's all I knew. And I remember my neighbor, who was married at the time, said to me one day, "I don't know how you do it as a single parent." And I looked at her and I said, "I don't know how you do it as a married couple." So I looked at it as I could make my own rules. I didn't have that other person in my life to fight with about how do we raise the children or discipline, or I was in total control um, of raising my kids. It's a low man who doesn't pay child support. I agree, but he has to live with that. You know, we all have to live with our own mistakes, and he's got to live with that, and he knows. I always said to him, when your kids are older, they're going to figure this out because I've never complained to my kids of their dad. I always encouraged them to love him, um, no matter how dysfunctional he was, or irresponsible, or not committed to calling certain days of the week, or um, sending a Hanukkah card, on time, or a Christmas card. Um, or a birthday card. And I still encourage them, always encourage them to love their father. It wasn't their fault that any of this happened. The muffler, Julie, the muffler's still for sale, y'all. It's still for sale. $1,200. Slightly used muffler, the one that fell off from under my car. And that is getting fixed Thursday. Thursday. So I'm going away for a few days. I might not be back till Thursday or Friday, but somebody will bring my car to the repair shop. And someone asked me like, "Oh, I'd be so pissed because I went live waiting for the tow truck," and I'm just like, I was calm. I'm like, shit happens, right? Shit. What am I gonna do worrying about it or getting mad over it? It happened. It happened. I couldn't glue the thing back on or decoupage it. Well, I actually can decoupage it. I should. Um, Make some yard art, right, J May? But that's life. Some things we can't control. I can't control my muffler falling off. I couldn't control the construction on the street. When you badmouth their other parent, you're badmouthing half your child. Absolutely. I see so many people like bad mouthing the other parent, and I'm like, oh my God, like how can you do this to your kid? To put them in that situation. I mean, it's unfathomable to me. Same Pink, except I left pregnant and a 3-year-old, unacceptable, unfixable reasons. I always did it for the kids. That's what we do. Yeah, absolutely. I got a lot of compliments on that parody of Merb, and I have to thank you all because I really didn't think it was that great. I really, when I would do Molly Go Lightly, I could at least say, hey, that wasn't too bad because she's outrageous. She can be funny. She can be gross, but I could parody her and make light of it. Merv, it's difficult. So I thank you for all the compliments because I really didn't think it was that great. Oh, Amy, thank you. Spend it on something fun. Thanks for putting yourself out there into Merv's target. Lots of hurting people she's created. Thank you for being you. Thank you so much, Amy. Yes, I will spend it on something fun. Absolutely. Thanks for coming, Amy. You're jealous, Tommy? Start your channel. Start a channel. And in closing, we can't change people. And the best thing you can do for yourself, and I promise you this, is people like Merb, people like anyone out there who is this toxic. You don't have to watch them, okay? You don't have to. And I assure you, you'll be better off for it. You'll feel better. Um, and it's very easy for me to detach, but I know for other people it isn't. But I assure you, you know, by not watching somebody do this, or I should say, by watching somebody act like this and hurtful, even if they're talking about you, it is not healthy. And you don't deserve that. You just don't. We're here to support you, but also to tell you you don't deserve that. You don't deserve someone trying to recreate who you are, to re-identify you. You know who you are. You know your truth. And love yourself enough and respect yourself enough to know that, you know what, you're good enough as you are. White Rabbit did a parody of Merv. Unfortunately, it can't be seen in US or Canada, only basically in England. Uh, you laugh so hard, Deadly. Well, thank you. She's hard to do. It's not easy being miserable. And I do hope she gets the help. I mean, nobody deserves to be that out of control. It's like a person struggling like with substance use, right? And they can do horrible things and they can hurt a lot of people. And I know that all too well. And but they deserve help. It's a disease, or you can classify it as a disorder. Um, and I often used to think when my son was struggling, how horrible of a person he turned into under the influence of drugs. And then one day I just said, you know what? I'm feeling sorry for myself, but can you imagine what he's feeling? You know, and how unfair it is to him to be stricken with such a disease. And that's how I feel about Merv too, that it's not fair that she has to contend with that. If it's innate, if it's something that she was born with, she didn't have that choice. Um, and she too deserves help. Does that mean I like her and I want to hang out with her and be her friend? No, no. But she does deserve proper help. But can you imagine living inside? that mind. I mean, think about it, that you're angry all the time and you weaponize all the time. Um, just think about that, living, having that mind, that body, waking up every morning and just living that day after day. And to me, that's a struggle. That to me would feel like a struggle. Respectfully disagree that she can't help it. I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna say, well, when she first came onto YouTube, she was different. I mean, I don't know where that's coming from, but I always say when you see someone first come on YouTube, right? They're on their best behavior, that honeymoon period, right? And as time goes by, a few months go by, and then another few, you start to see a little bit more of that person's personality come out. So I just think we're seeing someone who was always been like this. Um, but that's just my opinion. I will. BBT is very hard to get a hold of. I tried calling her yesterday. Um, it just goes into voicemail. But I know when I talked to her the night before, she's upset, but she's a tough cookie. She's a tough Bostonian. She'll be okay. She did reach out to me and text me yesterday. She had a question about something. So yeah, even addicts have self-awareness, not the same as her behavior. Firstly, I imagine living in that house left alone inside her brain. Yeah, BBT will be fine. And she's honestly, she's overwhelmed and is overwhelmed too with all the support. And if you remember a few years ago, she didn't have any support. And she was incredibly hurt by MRB. And she didn't have many people. And she didn't have a channel. So this to her is very overwhelming. And she deserves it. She deserves the support. And I thank everyone who supports her, and she does too. She thanks people a million times. Um, but she's finally been able to speak her truth. Did anyone share what happened with her the other night? BBT, that is. You mean, I think the breaking point was when Merb accused her of being that prank caller, accused her of every awful thing Merb has said that has happened to her. That BBT is basically responsible. Merb denies it. But if you go back, because she left the crappy video up of a prank caller talking about SA, totally inappropriate against a minor, um, she does blame BBT. And if it isn't BBT, it's somebody else. It's always somebody else. But people are sick of it, Merb. People are tired of the same old shit with you. It's the same old song, the same old shit, just a different day. And if you don't change your attitude, right, your altitude will drop. And it is dropping. So it's up to you, Merb, because your channel is failing not because of us, because of your actions. Do better. Do better. And you're just not willing. So once you're willing to do better, maybe you'll see your channel spark up a little bit more. But until then, your channel is shit. Shit. So you want to come at me for having 6 people in my live stream Saturday, last Saturday? Again, that just shows who you are. That you don't value your subscribers enough unless they're in there in greater numbers. That says so much about you, Merb. I don't care if I have one person in my live stream. I will continue my live stream, and I value that person. But not you, Merb. Because when you said that, you disrespected my subscribers. There's only 6 or only 8 people in there, plus you, but you disrespected my subscribers. I thank Merv for highlighting my comment on her community page so more can see it and pray to St. Anthony. Isn't he the saint of missing items? Could you imagine the story Jay Bells has about her if she could be honest? Can't imagine it. But you never know. You never know what may come to light. I'm sorry, knitting artisan. I know you've been hurt terribly. Yeah, that's true, sleeping cats. And she's gonna say, well, it's only when Pink talks about me she gets views, right? She's always got an answer. Well, just think of all the more people that are now better off and more informed about you, Marb. You can call me Turb. 100 should be treated no different, respect and appreciation. Exactly. Her brain is a pachinko machine of dysfunction. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Oh, it's been a while. Okay. Um, I'm not sure when I'll be back. I am going away for a little bit for a holiday. Um, so I want to thank everyone for coming. I should be back Thursday or Friday. Maybe I'll pop in between. I don't know. But my focus is in just getting away and having some R&R time. Pink eye comments in BB chat. BBT's chat and MRB highlighted on the community page. Oh, yeah, she likes watching everybody. She needs to just focus on her channel and getting it back up running. And I'm sure she might have something to say tonight. I don't care. I won't be watching her. Um, I've been going to bed a lot earlier, which is much more healthier. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Thanks for coming up. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats and the donations. Thanks, Rabbit Dog. Great live you did. Everyone, sub up over to our Rabbit Dog. He does true crime. He had a good live stream with Intimidate the other night. Thank you, Jenny Barnes. Happy holidays to everybody. Monday here is Columbus Day. Thanks, kindness, Julie. All right, everyone, be well. Okay, we'll talk soon. Exactly, knitting artisan. Thanks, heads up, 7 up. I will. I'm gonna get to bed early tonight and have an early start tomorrow morning. Okay. Hey, Angela. Good night, everyone. Thank you.